Hey, what's up, brother? How you feeling, man?
Good. How are you?
Another day, man. Another day.
How's the weather in Cali?
Oh, you know how it is here. It's always nice here. It's right now probably I'll say probably like close to 80s. Let me see. But
Chill.
it's gonna get oh no, it's 62. But next week it's gonna be close to 100, I heard.
Ooh.
hmm hmm What you live in Vegas?
My green card expired, but I filed the extension on time, like as soon
hmm
as I could.
hmm
Um, and so if I want to travel outside the country, I
hmm
have to bring the official papers that I filed for extension.
hmm
But dude, I'm still kind of afraid because like I was invited to Canada to this, the Realm Fitness.
Yeah,
Yeah, for this event, for this party, this anniversary.
yeah.
And Fuad is there and Ian is there, and I want to podcast with them and everything, but I'm kind of afraid. Like I'm flying back, and they're like, "Your green card is expired." I'm like, I have the extensions here, but you know, I
Yeah, I can see that. Once you have your green card, you're a citizen officially, right?
yeah, yeah.
Citizenship, and
No,
then
no, not a citizen. No, I'm just a
no.
resident.
Oh, well, so
No,
how do you?
citizenship I can do next year.
Oh, so okay. What's that process like? How long does it take to get the green card, and then how long does it take to get the
The green
citizenship?
card took me, so that's 2 years I have it now. I think it took me like 4 years to get. But it could be way faster, like because that was the second time I applied because I remarried. So the
hmm
first time nothing happened forever because it was during
hmm
COVID, and the second
hmm
time was like 2 months. Boom, there it was.
Okay, okay, and
So
then
because the world's kind of going normal now, I
mhm,
think especially like when it's a green card from marriage, it goes
mhm.
pretty fast.
Yeah,
Unless
okay,
maybe you're like, I don't know. I think there's somewhat of a benefit that I'm German, maybe.
okay.
I would think so. It's less suspicious,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
because there's
yeah.
a lot of fraud. And if you see a Brazilian guy, or I don't know, I think they're more, yeah, I don't know, skeptical.
Back in the days, man, when my parents came here, it was pretty easy to finesse it because my dad got had like a they used to they would pay somebody to like marry them and
Yeah,
then get
yeah.
it that way. So my dad came here first in his 20s and he married some lady, but she ended up being a little crazy and she didn't want to divorce him. But then he ended up bringing my mom. And then my mom, I believe, did a fake marriage too, actually. I don't know if I should be saying this, but it's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
Zoom is gonna.
But nowadays, it's not that easy. They'll do a lot of research nowadays. I mean, as they should, right? As they
Yeah.
should, because
I didn't. I mean, I have an attorney for it, so we had to upload pictures from the marriage and from vacation and the family and stuff. And I mean, I agree. Like you should do that. That's fine.
yeah,
Um, but it's kind of nuts how much you still have to pay, even though like it's all legal, and you're not like I
I
don't
know.
know. It's kind of wild, but I mean, it is what it is. Um,
It shouldn't lean so much on finances and lean more on doing it
yeah,
the right way.
it's kind of like it's kind of sad. Like if you want it, like you're marrying someone out of love, and then it's kind of like I don't know. I can afford it, but some people might not. They go into debt to get their stupid green card.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking because I'm sure a lot of people can't afford that. And I think you should get into the country the right way. And if you should be you should add value to the country as far as working, right? And shit like that. So I mean you should have to pay something, but it shouldn't be so crazy because then it would allow the right people to come here the right way.
Yeah.
You know, so because sometimes I hear people say, "Well, it's expensive to do it the right way." I'm like, "Well, It doesn't mean you still can't break the law. It's still, you still got to
But
follow the law.
I think it's kind of a tough issue because I think we have 500,000 to 1.2 million green cards a year.
Damn.
So that's a lot. And yeah, it's difficult for all these people, but it's still a lot of people. So if you make it easier, which I think it should be a little easier, but it's like, how many, like, where are you capping out? Like, you have to, I guess, like maybe double it. That might be okay. I don't know. It might also, you have to look at how many people are leaving the country. Um, yeah. So if the Republicans win again, maybe a lot of like there's more Democrats that be like, "Oh my God, fascism," and they're going to leave.
Well, then also, if you
That's
think
so
about,
funny. You know what's funny about this country is like there's so many people hating on this country and saying how bad it is, but no one's leaving. They
well,
all
yeah,
stay.
that's why people say don't believe what you hear, right? Or believe half of what you hear and more of what you see. Some shit like some shit like that. But it's like people can say anything, but their actions speak a lot louder,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Everybody's trying to come here and nobody wants to leave.
Yeah. So
Yet
which country is better? And
exactly.
also like the funniest thing is like when all these privileged black people say it's so racist, and
Hmm.
then it's like, do you know that we have tons of black immigrants? Like
Hmm.
we have more black immigrants than that are just like descendants from slave owners. It's like, why are they all coming into this super racist country if it's so racist?
Yeah, it's like you only know better if you've seen what the rest of the world has to offer, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why a lot of black people who are immigrants view the country a little bit differently, right? I was born here, right? But my parents was born elsewhere. So through their experiences, I've heard and seen the way things are. And you would be shocked how, a lot of different people are treated in different countries. So you could say the same for, let's say, gay people, for instance, right? you,
Mhm.
you go to most countries, you'll be pretty shocked though how they're treated. So it's like, or women as well, right? You could say that.
Yeah,
So it's like you have no idea what what the world looks like. So it's
yeah,
easy to say, oh, it's so hard here. If you think life is hard here, we're sitting here doing a podcast at 1 p.m., brother. Most people they are holding shit on their head, working on the streets, trying to make a
yeah.
nickel. That's most of the world. That's not like this is like we're all very privileged. But we don't see it that way because life is hard. Why is it
Yeah,
hard?
I just started actually yesterday. It's funny. I was in a line for the rental cars in Dallas,
Mhm.
and the lady behind me was on the phone. Was like very mad at the service lady on the phone because she's like, "You don't know what you're doing. I'm waiting here for the second time and or for the third time in a row, like 3 hours on my car. That can't be the case." And she was really mad. And then I started talking to her, and she has a leads a ministry in Kenya. Um, so the kids are like being taught from early age on about Christianity and getting really good education. They even have a gym with like good sports. And so I reached out to her again and said, like, I want to get involved. I want to donate, but also want to see how else I can get involved. And I'm going to start promoting that people are going to can donate also on my podcast now.
There we
And
go. There we go.
yeah, and these kids like in Kenya, there's so much corruption and it's really bad. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was
You,
in the Congo, which is I think one of the poorest countries in Africa.
mhm.
And I'm always like, I want to send all these privileged entitled pricks to the Congo for 2 weeks and be like, go there, come back and be like,
Listen,
Oh,
or let's talk about, let's say, the law or law enforcement. We may not agree with every law. We may not agree with every interaction with the law, but try no law. Try going to Sudan with no law and see how you like it there.
oh
Just
yeah, these
try
idiots
it.
that defund the police. I'm like, and then they always ask them, so what are you going to do if someone steals your stuff or if you need protection? You say, are you going to call the police? Yeah. It's like, see, like, of course they're not without mistake, and there's going to be wrongdoing, but you have to really look at the stats and see how bad it is.
I would say it's going to be environmental, right? Like the areas where you live, it's going to be more crime in some areas. If there's
Yeah.
poverty, right? Obviously, like me and you, we carry ourselves a certain way because of, how we live, where we live, and we've created a life where we can be this way, right? Now, if we lived in a forest, we would act a little bit different. Or if we
Yeah.
lived, right, if we lived in an area where everybody's trying to kill you just because you live in a different building, we're gonna act very different, and that's gonna lead to a lot more crime. So if you come and you hear a call and you come to the area and you're aware of this, you're gonna be more on the defense, as with everybody. If me and you go, even if we're not cops, if we go to where I'm from, where I grew up, we're gonna be on high alert, as we should, right? So we're more, we're more, we're gonna be more wired to protect ourselves, maybe prematurely. But guess what? I want to survive. So if I have to choose between me and you, I'm gonna go back home. So it just leads to, it is what it is, right? Is that anybody's fault in particular? Not really. It's just life. That's how. Sometimes that's how it goes.
You know what I
Very
wonder
much.
though is like a lot of people come with the argument then, so they say, oh, they commit more crimes because of poverty, right?
Hmm.
And to be honest, I'm someone, if I was poor, being honest with myself, I would probably try to, I might be more prone to commit more crimes. I'm honest, you know? Like
Hmm.
if it's just a little crime, like just if I'm very poor, like maybe I would like take some stuff, try to steal some stuff here or so. I don't know, but I'm trying to be honest. Maybe I
Hmm.
would. But on the other hand, you have Vietnamese people. Dude,
Hmm.
they never commit any crimes and they come poor a lot of the times. And you're like, why is that? And I
I know
think
why.
it's a cultural thing too.
Of course.
Because I think like to be honest, I think rap music, for example, is a reason a lot of people get into like bad habits and start like selling drugs or whatever because it's kind of glorified from their heroes. And there's and maybe also fatherlessness is a reason. I talked to Chiron about it, Chiron Holden on my podcast, and he had five sisters and no dad at home. And he was also saying that he had to learn this authority in the military. He was like, if there's like when he grew up, if there's like a dispute, he's ready to fight. He's going after people. It's like it's interesting.
You know what? I think music plays a lot less of a role than most people think. I think it's the latter. I think it's cultural, right? And it's like the family structure. Not
Mhm.
having a dad goes a long way.
Yeah,
If
that's more important than the music. I agree.
Yeah,
But
imagine.
if you have no dad and you have the music,
Yeah, but
both.
there's bad music in every culture. Have you heard some of these metal songs talking about killing people? That doesn't mean, like, it doesn't mean it's art. If you go play video games or watch movies of violence, it doesn't mean you're gonna commit violence.
But you
You
know
know.
what? The rock artists,
Mhm.
for I think for not many people, they're like role models in life. And I feel these rappers are really like role models. Yo, Ivan,
Hey
Hey,
man,
what's
hey
up?
guys.
what's up, Ivan? See, Leo, I think it's the other way around. I think everything else. leads to the rap music. The only reason the rap music is the way it is because of the reality of the condition they live in.
Maybe,
I,
yeah,
I,
maybe.
I
Maybe
think
it
it's
came
the
second. Maybe it came second, but I'm just thinking it still amplifies it. Dude,
it's
I
not
was
gonna help.
influenced by rap music.
It's not gonna help. That's for
My
sure.
parents weren't rich. Like technically it was child poverty, but that
Mhm.
really didn't feel like it. But from the
You don't know any better.
statistics, from the income, it was child poverty, which I grew up in. And dude, I glorified these rap guys, and I wanted to be like them. And I was thinking like selling drugs was cool, and sparing graffiti. And I was, you know, let's say
You were
close
doing
to
it.
doing it. You know what I mean? Close.
Yeah,
So,
it's like I felt like the environment. I think parents are everything, right? So you talk about the cultural aspect. I think that's what it is. My parents, it's like you're raised a certain way, with a certain, whether it's through religion or whether it's through the culture itself. You're taught certain things that as a kid you don't even care about that, but it still sticks, right? I didn't want to listen to my parents. Like I wanted to go, you know, be like the rappers. I wanted to sell drugs and beat people up because you're a kid, you're stupid, but
yeah.
it's still imprints in your head. It don't feel right. Then you're still gonna make better choices based off of your parents having good parents. And now if you don't know your dad, right? Your mom doesn't even know your dad, and your mom is partying and doing drugs, like, and you're hungry. Like, you're 8 years old. You're like, I'm hungry, mom, and she's passed out, fucking with a needle in her arm. What the fuck do? You're gonna go outside and figure out a way to do it, right? And it's not gonna be you're not gonna go get a job at 8 years old.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do something stupid, and then eventually you're gonna do more stupid shit. Once you end up in the system, you're fucked. You ain't getting a job. So now that's it. That's life now. It does happen to white people as well. If you go to like
Oh,
the
really?
slums and the trailer parks, it's a
Oh,
cycle that happens to. It can happen to anybody in poverty, but then you see people make it out of poverty perfectly fine too, right? Like I said, if it's not the parent, maybe they had an uncle or a role model. They used to watch Ivan videos and they like Ivan. And or some people watch wrestling. Like I used to watch. I want to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You might have a father figure that's not even your dad. It might be a guy at the gym.
yeah.
That can help you. But if you have no structure, you don't know how to be a man. You don't know how to be an adult. You're gonna act like an animal, bro. Like what? You don't. We are animals, right? So we only know better because we were taught better or we learned better. None of us are like, we're innocent as babies, but the human nature is not that innocent. If in the right circumstances, you drop us all in the jungle, we're gonna start acting like animals pretty fast. I'm gonna try to kill Ivan eventually. I'm like, somebody got to go. I got to eat, man. Too much. Ivan is eating all the food. Somebody gotta get. Eventually, we'll turn into animals. That's why you see people in certain environments start to act like animals. Eventually. So
Yeah. So
music,
they either
music doesn't help. Mhm.
they either need Jesus at least or a father. So or some good
Basically.
role model in their community, that
Yeah.
has some sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Ivan, how is Serbia considered like a poorer country, or
Yeah,
would you
yeah,
say?
yeah, pretty poor. I mean, I think we have, I would say we are more of like free people. If we wanted to be, if we were different, maybe we'd have more money. Like Serbia is rich. Like we have, like the soil is very good. We are in a good position geographically. Like it's not a poor country. Like I don't know, like parts of Egypt. I don't know.
Mhm.
But people are just like that. People are like, they don't want to work too much. They want to have this freedom and they want to, obey the law too much, But it functions and people are happy here, I would say, pretty much. But yeah, we're not like hard working as Americans, for example. I have that American mindset more so, but over here in Australia, people are like, they like to enjoy their time, their life.
How's the crime? Like the crime, violence?
It's not too bad. I want to say it's pretty low. Yeah.
I think American culture is pretty violent. I think
Yeah.
Americans like we like some violent shit sometimes because it shouldn't be as violent as it is. Because like Leo said, there's poor people all over the world. But well, I mean, there's a lot of violence all over the world. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying the violence is more like systemic or related to like war and terrorism, rather than just like people doing stupid. Like, let's be real. Like, some of the shit we have going on here that you see on it's stupid murders. Like, this person killed their girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, it's just
I
dumb
know.
shit. It's not even like, you know what I'm saying? It's not even things that you could say, well, that kind of makes sense. It's some really stupid
I
murder.
mean, we
I
had
think it's
wars over
also
here in the
because, I'm
90s.
sorry.
Yeah,
Huh?
we had a lot of wars over here in the 90s, and like throughout the history, Serbia was always kind of on the target of so many different bigger wars. So we were fucked pretty bad, like in every century so far, like for the last 5 centuries or so. But currently, right now in Serbia, it's perfectly safe to go out at night on the street, whichever city. So, yeah, crime rate is was I would say pretty low. Yeah.
I think it's also very technological because we have so much entertainment and stuff. People, they just have the option to never think, to
Mhm.
just, and
Do
it makes them dumb and it makes them do dumb stuff.
do you think when life is easier, as in like,
Simpler, you mean?
yeah, because I mean, life is hard. Technically, life can be hard anywhere, but I think we're very privileged in the States, generally speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think privileged people get bored and do stupid shit out of like kind of boredom? There's nothing better to do almost.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I think so. Listen, war is inevitable. If you're at war, whether it's religions or whether it's I don't know, that to me is not, I don't want to say it's acceptable violence, but I get it. That war is as early, if there's humans, there's going to be war. I get
Yeah.
that, but I'm talking about just kind of like stupid wars, basically. Like
I
I
mean,
feel like
every war is kind of stupid, right? But
technically, yeah, it's not worth all these people dying, technically. But then
And some wars are unavoidable. Yeah, unfortunately.
you kind of have no choice. Like I always say, like
Mm,
as grown men, we shouldn't be fighting. But there's certain circumstances, somebody touches, grabs your girl's butt, and you're like, well, you're gonna have to, you guys gonna have to fight. It's just gonna have
yeah.
to be a fight. There's no way around it. So,
Mm.
anyways, Leo, were you at the cow? I didn't see you.
no, I wasn't there.
Oh, because you don't, yeah, well, you don't live here anymore, so it
Yeah.
would be quite a drive.
But it's going to be an interesting perspective with Ivan having Eric in there. Are you already recording, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
cool.
started
Like,
before it was started.
I would like to see how people react on our discussion about like we had before, if you would leave that in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so like let's start with the Cali, huh? Like doing that in
Yeah,
a row.
yeah.
So
I was.
I
Huh?
think sorry, I think um
Let's see.
Eric should have actually placed higher. And
Mhm.
it's not because he's my friend or anything. I think he was very dry and he has great muscularity, great detail also from the back. He had some issues with posing the back correctly. Like the back double, he sometimes didn't open up fully, but when he did, like you could see that he's better than a lot of guys, and he was and Luke is also my friend, so I can be very unbiased here. I have a podcast with Luke Forever on Larry Pollock, and I think Luke did also a bunch of posing mistakes, like not flexing his legs properly,
I agree.
letting loose in the transitions a little bit. And I feel Eric could have even like edged out Luke because, if I look at weaknesses, I think Eric doesn't really have a big weakness. And he was more shredded, I would say, a little better conditioned than Luke. And he's overall a bigger guy. So I would have probably have Eric before Luke. So I would have had Luke fourth and Eric third. So I don't know. So, like Sauce winning, I think was totally fine. I don't know why Wellington was so close first, and then it was so obvious because I think in prejudging it was 1 point decision, and then the finals it was a clear win for Sauce. It was kind of wild. And Wellington, I think, was solid second. Um, He was pretty good. He
He
looked
was.
he was yeah, a solid second. Um, who was fourth?
But Eddie, I can
Uh,
send you some videos if you want. You can check them out on a cloud.
but yeah, yeah. Did you send it to me already?
I'm gonna send them to you.
Okay, yeah.
You want them on the? Can I send them on email?
Oh, Instagram works too.
Yeah, yeah. Let me do that.
A fourth was Patrick Moore, which like I was so okay. So I sat actually right behind the judges. I got the VIP band, but they ran out of VIP seats.
Hmm.
So they literally bought a chair for me and my friend to sit
Whoa.
right. So I've never been that close. Sas was the most shredded person I've ever seen in person, and everybody there agreed.
Hmm.
Uh, Wellington is much more impressive in person than online. I gotta be honest. Online, I can't say I'm super impressed with Wellington. Online, it's like he doesn't have weaknesses, but he doesn't look like he has any strengths. Kind of like he kind of looks like a
Hmm.
generic bodybuilder to me, like nothing really special. In person, he's bigger than I thought. He's wider than I thought. So he's a bigger person. So that really stood out to me. And he's standing next to Sauce. Nobody looked shredded, but he was fucking shredded. He was fucking shredded. Um, Third was Luke Carroll. Luke Carroll wasn't shredded, but he was in very good shape, and his shape is it looks like Justin Shire, but even more like cartoonish. So it's very impressive. Patrick Moore, the same thing, very impressive, but honestly, not as impressive as Luke, not as impressive as Janicki, if I'm being honest. Just like somebody, it's like somebody that you say, like, with that shape, if he was bigger and harder, oh my God, he could beat anybody. But the size and condition isn't there, right? Janicki was the biggest person there, the biggest man there, and he actually looked very muscular on his own frame. He looked like he was filled out. And as prejudging went on, he kept getting tighter and harder and tighter and harder. And you could see people like wanting him to move up, kind of like, why isn't he moving up? And he actually did work his way up because it looked like,
Yeah.
but for some reason he was like they moved him to the second call out and back and forth. I'm like, there was no reason for him to even stand the second call out respectfully. And you see kind of people kind of going like, nah, he should move up. And you see the judges kind of, he should move up because he kept getting harder. Yeah, it looks like maybe there's a slight impingement of something on his shoulders from opening up like a lat for, I don't know which side it is. I did notice that his posing got way better. And this was by far the best Janik I've seen. He was peeled. Everybody says he needs to get in shape. This was true bodybuilding shape. He wasn't as hard as Sasa. We know that.
If Eric would pose with Steve Weinberger, he would be like, roll your shoulders forward, chest up, chest up, chest up, more, more, more. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
Eric, more, more. Man,
I,
and it's every competition, like we talked before, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna pose. We're gonna pose. We're gonna FaceTime. We do posing. And then he's too tired and he's not doing it. And then, I mean, he improved his, like by himself or whoever he worked with, he improved his posing a lot. But there's
mhm.
still some things where I'm like, dude, we could like, man, we could have gotten like this third place, I think, if the posing was on
it
point.
it looked like from my I've been knowing Eric for a long time. I'm sure you have too, right, Leo? You know from a
Yeah,
while.
you train with him right now. Yeah, yeah, me too. But you
So
probably more frequently you're in the same gym, kind of, right?
this is his posing was not very good. It's getting a lot better. I think there's a little bit of impingement. I think he's doing the best he can physically.
Mhm.
I think there is something a little bound up, honestly. But like he has
Which
by
poses?
far, huh?
Which poses do you see that?
In the front lat spread, there's one that
On last
opens
print, yeah.
more, and in the back double, sometimes he doesn't open up. He can though. I've seen him open up, but I think it's
Hmm.
hard. His posing routine was by far the best posing routine, not even close.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that looks like he's honestly he's the only one that looks like he's really practicing, right?
Hmm.
He doesn't like move like a fucking Chris Cormier. Like he's not blessed with like this crazy rhythm, but he's trying, and you can tell that he's doing his best, which is sometimes what you need. So
I
I had him in front of Patrick Moore. I could have had him in front of Luke Carroll too, but I'm a sucker for the shape. I'm not gonna lie. I love that cartoonish shape, but
Yeah.
nobody would have had an issue with him being that place, right?
You
So,
know, I felt like, I mean, I wasn't there in person, of course. I've seen some high quality videos. I just sent them to you so you can play them. Maybe
oh,
uh,
perfect.
from what I saw, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like the judges just picked Luke because his front relaxed pose was super impressive, and you
Mhm.
know, in that pose and in the front lats, maybe most muscular, he did look like he can stand next to Suss and Wellington. But when he turned to the side and from the back, you could see those gaps. So overall, I think if Eric had a chance, if he had a second three-man call out with Patrick and with Luke, I think and I don't know if they maybe placed him a little bit lower because he's an influencer and didn't want to just gift him the victory. Maybe he has, you know, a little bit more of a trouble because of that. Maybe people think that it's going to be an advantage, but I think it's probably the opposite in this situation. Maybe. Like I said, if they were in one call out, those three guys, and if I don't know, I felt like the show was it happened too fast. You need to download the videos, I think, for the quality to be high.
Oh, got it.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
go
Oh,
to
there you go.
the bottom right on
this
settings.
is good.
Yeah,
I
did it.
think yeah, it just upped the quality.
I know
Yeah, you can
what
do that.
I know what Ivan is saying. This is why the front pros are so important because it catches you right
Mm,
away, right?
yeah.
So once he came out, front relax, front double, he stood out right
Mm,
away, and it was almost
yeah.
like he once he catches your eye like that, he stays on your head. You know, you
Yeah.
can he has weaknesses. You can break down weaknesses more so than Janicki and
Mm,
potentially even Patrick. He might have technically more weaknesses, but very pretty
yeah.
to look at. You know,
Yeah. Those couple of balls from the front were really impressive. So
mhm,
I see why they had him in that third. I don't think it's completely wrong, but maybe if the different judges were judging, maybe he would be fourth. And I
yeah,
definitely had Eric over Patrick. That one I'm sure. I don't know how that happened. Again, I think he was overlooked simply for some reason. That first call out they put Eric in that second third call out, whatever it was, and then they brought him back and they realized they made a mistake. But I mean, Patrick has, you know, good shape, you know, big arms, big shoulders. That's something Eric needs to work on in his off season. But I mean, the conditioning from the back and just overall polish, I think Eric was just simply, you know, more prepared, better. So that's the way I had it. You know, at least fourth, maybe third, probably third. But yeah, Luke was also pretty good. I can't say anything about that.
for you to
And
look at.
as far as the posing, I talked to Eric before the show. I asked him to do some posing with me, but I wasn't going to push it too much because I know he was doing a lot of cardio and steps and training, and he was dieting really hard. So I know what it's like, you know, in those like you need to force somebody really, and I just let him, you know, do his own thing. I mean, if we did a couple of posing sessions even online, I think he would definitely do a little bit better job. But yeah, it was pretty good. Baidi, tell me, you were there. Like, how much did his conditioning change? Like from the prejudging to the finals, as he was posing, and so on. You said he was getting tighter. Was he losing fullness, maybe, or something like that? I can't see on
In
camera.
the
Mhm.
in the prejudging, as he got harder, I do think he lost a little bit of fullness. Then
Mhm.
finals, he looked like he was blasting full and hard. So the finals look to
Mhm.
me was the best look personally. He looked super
Mhm.
full and hard at the same time. So I thought that was the money. I'm not sure what y'all did in between those times, but that to me was the best look I saw. Let me see if I could for posing routine is when I would see it. You know.
Yeah, I felt the same way. He had some water and another meal and some salt as well. I think it brought him back to life. And also, I think he posed better as well. I think after they moved him out of that first call out, I think he kind of, you know, he was mad. He wasn't happy with that. So I don't think I think he wasn't happy with that, and it showed on his body. Basically, he wasn't presenting it the best way possible.
So something else that I've noticed with Eric since like his first few shows of amateur, he's a showman, so he gets like when he's posing, he gets into it. Like he excites the crowd, he gets everybody
Mm,
into it. I personally like that. I'm
Me
starting to think.
too.
I don't know if the judges like that. I gotta be honest. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if they like it.
I think he was just a tad over the top.
Okay, okay.
Because it was like, especially when he went off stage, the way he was like, oh my, it was just a tad over the top. It was like he did like this, I think the
The
mantis pose.
salute.
He was like, and it was just like, it seemed a little unauthentic, inauthentic. It seemed a little bit like he wanted to show that he's there, but it was just a tad too much.
See,
Um,
bodybuilding to me, I feel like it can be boring, and I like when people do that, as long as they don't do anything like cringe or anything like that. But I don't think they like it. I gotta be honest. I don't think they like it. If I'm being completely honest.
I think it
I
was
think I think
good
he
when he
talked.
smiles and everything, but
Mhm.
it was just a little too much. That was just
He
my
actually
opinion.
talked.
Huh?
He actually talked to. I don't know. I'm not sure if if he talked to promoters or somebody who is running California Pro, something like that. Then somebody actually told him that they want to see that at Cali. You
Okay,
know.
okay. Well, that should help him then. But Eric is somebody who I feel like has never got any gifts when it comes to placing.
Yeah, that's
You,
true.
to be honest, when he first got into it, I actually thought he would do better. I thought he would do slightly better than he even should. I thought the popularity could actually help him to a point.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it
if it's
usually
close,
does.
in my head, I'm like, if it's close, they would probably give it to him.
Yeah, it's
Him
the
and
other way
Joe,
around. Yeah.
he went against Joe Palacios in 2023, right? So I
Yeah.
was there as well. I was fourth. Joe was first. Eric was second. So in my head, I was like, this is pretty close. Two different physiques, pretty close. In my head, I was like, they might give it to Eric because it's close. And I could at the time Joe wasn't popular at all. Joe didn't even post on social media back then. He didn't. So it was like I was like, they might actually give it to Eric because you know
Yeah.
that'll be great promotion. And it's not like he was like it's not like he didn't deserve it. It's not like you could say, well, oh, how dare this guy win? If he would have won,
I,
it
I
wouldn't have
think
been like you know.
I think that does happen more in classic physique, and in open bodybuilding for some reason it just doesn't.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, there aren't a lot of influencers in open bodybuilding, really. I think maybe
that's
he's the
true.
only one.
I'm not famous enough yet. They don't do me any favors in classic.
Yeah, man.
But
It's
I
same
also
here.
need to get better, to be honest. But I'm like, when in doubt, give Leo a worse placing. And it's the same, like, I feel with Sauce. Sauce is always like, if he's between fifth and third, he gets fifth all the time. It's like,
Hey,
it's like I saw him
I
better than
agree.
Brandon.
I,
He would never beat him. Like it's always like Sauce is like, Sauce first or second. Okay. If it's even a question, he's getting second.
I
And
I love
same with
Brandon's
Eric.
physique.
Same with
I
Eric.
love
Like,
Brandon's physique. I love Regan's physique. I love Andrew's physique. But man, if some bro, especially seeing him in person, when you look like that, man, they gotta give it to you. And in videos, I thought Sas kind of looked a little bit too like narrow. I thought his arms were getting like because arms used to be big. I thought his arms were kind of atrophy, getting smaller. Watching it in person, I don't know, is different to me. He did not look narrow. His arms were fucking huge. His most muscular was actually the most impressive one I saw on this fucking stage. So I'm like, he's actually way more impressive than I thought. You know, I knew he was impressive, but I thought he was maybe a smaller, shredded guy. No, he's bursting full and shredded. I agree. I love Brandon. I think he looks amazing. If I'm judging, I probably would have put him ahead of Brandon. I probably would have had him ahead of Regan last year at the Cali, if I'm being completely honest.
or at the
Um,
Olympia, bro. He
bro,
was
at the
16th at the
Olympic,
Olympia. That was a
come on,
joke.
bro.
He should have been like 10th or something.
Bro, he was the best peak guy on the fucking stage. And it's not like he has weaknesses, so you can't say, oh, he's way too small. Obviously, he's smaller than, he's not going to be like, you know, a top six guy, top eight guy. But top 10, I think Sasan is good enough
I
for
think
that.
he should have beat Regan at the Olympia. At
Yeah, I
least.
think so too,
I'm
personally. I
like,
think so too,
he
personally.
got 16th. That was not okay, I think. I
That's a
mean,
bit
he
much.
might be like, whatever. At the Olympia, it's not whatever. 10th place is still it's a big deal if you're 15th or 11th at the Olympia. It's kind
Huge
of
deal.
like, so how did you do at the Olympia? Like 16th or 10th?
Exactly.
You like that's still a big deal. And I think he should have done better. I hope this year they will be like, judging more for weaknesses and condition and give him a better placing. Like just what he deserves. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he looks shredded here, but I don't think a camera can pick up the
No, it's
detail.
also it's also like he's not flexing his hamstrings here properly. And when you see him flexing his hamstrings properly, you're like, whoa, It's always like in pictures, it's like doesn't catch the right moment too.
Okay,
So video is obviously better. Yeah, Sauce
this
was like
pose,
mince or dry, man.
this
Yeah,
pose in person, everybody kind of like gasped. Like you could see the detail, but in this picture, I would say he looks kind of narrow. They probably didn't take the picture at the right time. I don't know. But
yeah.
in person, this back double was strict, bro. From the top of his head to his calves was just insane. Like this pose was like something I haven't seen. So, yeah,
I
but
just wanted to
picture.
ask you that, because when I was analyzing Sas's physique before he went against Eric, I was like, his back is a little bit atrophied, it looks a little bit narrow, this and that. But when I saw those high quality videos, when I saw him even next to Eric, I saw how big his back actually is. In the back last, but on the back double, it's actually very complete and just looks crazy. Conditioned,
100%.
hard. I'm sure in person it's way better than that. I mean, that video was amazing. He looked insane.
I would imagine he doesn't weigh that much because to be this shredded, I don't think you can be this shredded.
Nah, he's
I don't
like
think he,
230 or something. And
that's what I'm saying. You're not gonna be this peeled at 250. Like this is
Mm.
like this is peeled.
if
I
even, yeah. Maybe he's 225.
I think he's just so peaked that he looks bigger than he is. Cause in a t-shirt walking around like
Mm.
he doesn't look like a big guy, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like
Yeah.
Eric in a t-shirt looks big, but they strip off. It doesn't look like Eric is like so much bigger than him because of just what he has going on here. It's pretty insane. I gotta be honest.
I mean, if the
But
other guys would be as peeled, they would all lose 10 pounds.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth it as long as you're not flat. If you get
Yeah.
shredded and you're flat, you're fucked. But if you're shredded and full, you're gonna look better than you
You
did.
wanna look bigger, yeah.
Exactly. I wanted
I
to
just learned like as long as you can get somewhat of a pump backstage, that's enough.
100%. I've never been able to get a pump backstage, but
Yeah, then it's too much. You did a little too much, I think.
I,
And you're a little too flat. But if you can get somewhat of a pump, you're probably bang on. Like for
Not
what you got,
somewhat.
for what,
You
if you're
can't
not
expect
shredded,
an
you're not
off-season
shredded. But
pump.
yeah.
yeah,
You can't expect like a full pump,
not like
backstage.
yeah,
I mean,
not
Sash can actually do that. He could actually do
Maybe,
that.
yeah.
He
because
could
he
he could he could be like you go full bonkers the day before the show and eat like a whole McDonald's and still probably be the most shredded. Lose a little bit of lines, but he would be bursting full. It would be fun to kind of try that out just one time. He should have tried it.
Yeah.
Maybe he
But
did for
he's
the show a little bit.
but he's super dehydrated as well. I mean, I don't think he can get a crazy pump. He doesn't need it. I mean, with that much muscle and that much,
It
dryness and
would just be
everything.
a fun experiment to see. He would just go to like a burger place and just one day out. I mean, you can't ruin that shape. You can't be less peeled, but it won't be like it is so peeled that it won't be look we won't be
anything
bad
crazy.
the
Yeah,
next day.
I don't think he can pick any better, man. To be honest,
Yeah.
I
No,
think
he
he can
would
only get
always look
worse.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah,
you might get worse if you try to get better than that. Well, because
yeah.
Chris Aceto, he keeps it 90%. He doesn't go for the 100%. But
It's also
I think
clever.
he went 100 with us. To be
Yeah,
honest.
he plays his strength. He's not
yeah,
like, oh, let me try to be big.
yeah,
He's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I'm the most peeled guy. I run with it. I'll keep running with it. That's what I got. And like, if I can maybe be like 5% fuller, or like look 5% more impressive. But then I lose my trademark Munzer, shreds. And,
Mm,
that's the trade-off's
yeah,
not worth it.
he's playing his own strengths for sure.
Yeah.
That
My
photo,
friend,
those photos you showed just of Luke. I mean, yeah, that's what part of the reason why I think he should have placed a little bit lower. I mean, that back needs some work, and the side poses also, like his legs from the side, hamstrings, glutes,
Yeah. Yeah. He
the
the
whole
also
rear chain.
he also changes his stance for the side tricep, and that didn't look good.
Mm,
He tried the
the
Dorian Yates stance, and for him it doesn't show more detail. It's rather worse. But
the
he has the he's like you said, the good thing for him is the first two poses are his best.
yeah.
So they might move him up right away. And
Mm,
then he fades a little bit, but maybe not enough, or they might not look as much again,
yeah.
and then he stays in the front. And I told Eric to do Legion, and now I'm like, dude, you should have done it. You totally should have done it. He could have gotten a comparison with Tonio. That's just good to end the season like that. But
I thought so too. I definitely thought he should have. I'm sure Ivan feels the same. I'm sure. I really feel like he should have done Legion as well. And it's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
it's not
I
that far.
suggested. Yeah, I suggested. I gave him a couple of options to explain exactly what he would do for each option. Legion. Do just do Legion. Just do another peak week, basically. And I understood that if he doesn't feel like doing another peak week again, water loading, dehydrating, and everything like that, that maybe it's a little bit too much trouble for him. But doing Toronto would probably make a lot of sense as well because he wouldn't have to dig as deep. We could take it easy, and I'm sure he would get even more conditioned and harder and just bigger and fuller potentially. So I think Toronto would be a good option. But he has a business, his social media, and has a family as well, and he just didn't feel like putting his family and his business through another 4 weeks of prepping, basically. And
yeah.
it also with the risk of potentially, probably, not winning a show. So if he wants to go all out again, he's gonna have to be, really believing he can win a show, and he needs an off
Well, in
season for that.
Toronto, he would get a few bucks back because if he gets
Yeah,
second, he would at least get
Well,
5,000
that
bucks or something. But yeah,
that's the thing that separates Eric from other bodybuilders, though, is that Eric is not the average bodybuilder where he's a very busy businessman with two kids,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
there's no amount of prize money that's
yeah.
gonna pay him what he already makes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so it's
He's
one of
doing
those
this
things.
out of love, basically. It's not for
Exactly.
money.
So it's like if he's not gonna qualify, it's not gonna what he's taking away from his life
Yeah,
and businesses wouldn't be worth it. So any other bodybuilder, it makes perfect sense to continue. But
yeah.
because he's Eric, competing actually takes away from his life. It doesn't add to it. Like him
Mm.
competing doesn't add to his career, his money, his life in any way, other than the passion for it. Whereas most people, they're
Yeah,
I
building.
just I disagree a little bit. It
Okay,
gives you, especially if you do well or if you just look well, it gives you some push. And if he would have gotten a top two comparison, it would have helped him. Like it would have
Leo,
probably increased his sales. He would have done a few more, would have
Leo.
sold a few more coachings. So I don't know. I don't know. It
That's not
just
true, Leo.
it does help. I
Eric
see it with
making more
myself,
content.
and I'm not even placing in front. But
But
if I
that's
compete,
you,
people
Leo.
come to me for coaching and stuff.
You don't have 2 million followers, and you're not the amount of content he makes when he's not competing is gonna push his business way more than the stage. Believe me, there's no stage big enough other than him placing top five Olympia that's gonna market him like his own page markets him, bro. The Olympia itself doesn't have 2 million followers. Like he's reaching people that he can never reach through a bodybuilding stage. It's not even comparable. So like if you chose between nothing and that, yes. But what he's already doing is growing his business way more than other. But these Olympians aren't making what Eric makes. They're not reaching the audience he's making. The Olympia brand itself
yeah,
barely reaches that. So it's like you can't compare a stage for Janik. Maybe you don't realize how big his reach is, brother. It's a whole different level.
yeah. He's aiming for different audience and also for different clientele. He's
Mhm.
not looking to get bodybuilders to prep them. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get, and it's a lot more work to prep a bodybuilder for a show than to just have lifestyle clients to help them a bit with the diet and the training and so on. And yeah, like I said, for him, he's doing it only for the accolades. So if he gets a Mr. Olympic qualification, then it would make sense. It would be worth it. And at this point, I think the next step is going to be that, and he needs another off season to get that. I wanted to see him compete more. I wanted him to do, if possible, Legion and Toronto as well, just to see if he can actually climb up that ladder and be compared to the other top guys. But I completely understood him. I didn't want to impose myself. I said, whatever you choose, that's what we're gonna go for. I'm here to serve, and that's it. Really, I don't want to be someone's manager. I can
Yeah.
offer options and explain how we would do things, but I'm not a manager. I'm just a coach. That's it.
I think qualifying for the Olympia would get him a different angle of credibility. I will say that. But like placing top three, I don't think that helps him anyway. I think qualifying is the only thing that could potentially give him like a new. Listen, we all already know him. All the entire bodybuilding world knows him. The mainstream people know him. So like, who else could he reach? He's already reached everybody, right? So it's like, what other reach besides credibility? I'll say credibility maybe to.
And respect, maybe from
I
other
think,
Yeah,
yeah, and
bodybuilders.
I
Top
think a
bodybuilders.
top two comparison with Tonio would give him some of that. But I agree he could make another video that weekend with, I don't know, Larry Wheels that would benefit him more financially. But I think it's also important to exactly what you said is reaching more of the bodybuilding demographic, which there he still has a little bit of a
yeah.
the science guy, and we don't really take him seriously. And if he really manifests himself and gets him call out with Antonio Burton and can expose him maybe in some shots, I think that would give him something. Um, you know,
Respect,
at the
I'll
end of
say.
the day, if the
Mhm.
calculation comes out positive or negative, I don't know. But I think he still loves bodybuilding and
He
he
does.
needs also the stage time, I think, and he needs more experience. So I would have I would have at least done that. It's not too far away. I think
Shit, man.
he's gonna bite himself in the ass when he's watching it. 100%. I bet.
Shit. If I was him, I would. Even if I can't say that makes the most sense technically, but I probably would just because
Yeah.
as bodybuilders, we kind of different. Like we don't always make the most sense, right? We just do
Yeah.
shit because this is
Yeah.
what the fuck we do sometimes. That's why we
You know
all.
what?
Mhm. Go ahead.
I didn't do that. Like the last time I competed, when I switched to the MPC, I only did one show, and I should. I'm regretting it for sure. Like I was in shape. I should have done at least a couple more, but I was like, I'm second here, and the guy that beat me is way better than me. I'm not gonna be a top pro, so whatever. But I wish I did more shows, just to have some more experience and maybe some photos on the stage. Maybe I
Yeah.
would have even gotten a pro card. Who knows? But yeah, definitely regret it. And that's what I said. I told Eric as well. I was like, when you're out of shape, you're gonna look back at your physique, and you're gonna think
Yeah.
that maybe you should have done a couple more shows. But yeah, he just
You
wasn't
also
feeling it.
pushed.
And mhm.
You also pushed him probably harder than he's ever been pushed. So
Yeah.
what he was feeling was probably
Mm.
more right, more than he could have anticipated, right? Because it could get rough if you push hard
Oh
enough.
yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, and
You know,
and also he wasn't. He felt like he wasn't super completely conditioned, and I agree with that. Like his glutes could have been sharper. I would prefer them to be a little bit more sharp. And he thought if he wants to get that condition, he has to suffer a little bit more. And I think he was just burnt out. I don't think he wanted to go to another 4 weeks of that. But I explained. I said we don't have to do that. Just 4 weeks of a little bit less intense dieting. You're gonna get there, and you're gonna get even fuller and harder. He also thought that he was going to lose a lot of weight and mass to get that condition, but
it's
I don't
true.
think that will happen. But yeah, in the end, that was his choice. That's how he felt, and it is what it is.
Well, that's the question I have for you actually, because I saw Eric at the 2024. I want to say USA's, right? 2024. I think, yeah, 2024 USA's. And was that 2024 or 2025? One of those, I think 2024. And he listened to what everybody said and came in or tried to come in as hard as possible, right? And kind of seemed a little bit harder, but it seemed like he lost too much, right? Mind you,
Hmm.
this is some time ago. He had less muscle as well.
Hmm.
Do you think, let's say this year, right now, do you think that if you would have dieted him another 6 weeks and bar his glutes in, would it have actually been a better look or just a different look?
I think it would have been a much better look.
Okay.
I'm sure he wouldn't lose any weight. I think he would be the same weight, probably just harder, more conditioned, fuller even. Because I know what he was doing so far, and I'm gonna say that his previous coach Callum he's a bad coach. Of course he's a phenomenal coach, but personally I just didn't like the approach. What I saw, what he was giving him, I thought he could have been much better, during the prep, and so we changed some things. And I think with longer time doing the things that I was giving him, I think he would definitely improve. I don't think he would go down in weight. I don't think he would lose anything. I think he would just keep improving, because when you get in pretty good condition, you don't have to force cardio that much. Your body just starts rolling at some point, and you can push a little bit and pull a little bit. Be careful. Just pay attention. That's what it is. This for these 2 weeks. We were also he had a couple of free feeds as well. I was very careful about him not losing any weight, but this was very aggressive. We have 4 more weeks from this point to get 10% more condition or 15% more conditioned. He wouldn't lose anything. I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
I I I think I agree because I know Eric's cycles in the past, and it wouldn't be what I would recommend neither.
Dude,
I,
Mm,
I
I'm
think
not doing much, and from what he told me, I'm doing more than him. So
but also the choices of which compounds to use at what times
that's
is
what I
not
meant.
my
Yeah.
cup of tea. We're not saying, like you said, he's not saying that it's bad coaching, right? Because I'm not saying it doesn't work because it works for a lot of people, right? We see it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But from my experience, I just think there's better ways to do it. I think something can work for some people and still could work even better by doing it a different way. And
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he's been getting the best out of his physique. And I know that because from when I knew him to now, I didn't think he could actually, respectfully, I actually didn't think he had as much potential as I think he has now.
Mm,
You know, I didn't think he had as much potential as I believe he does now. And I still
same
think he
here.
has
Yeah.
even more potential than I think he does now, you know?
You've
So,
seen the cycles from his cycles before. You have seen them also.
yeah, we've discussed it like just passing, and
Uh huh.
it, it's a different style of is
Yeah.
maybe more modern, you could say, maybe more like a
More
more
modern. Yeah,
new
for
age
sure.
approach. And some things about the new age can be good.
Yeah.
I think some of the new age approach. I think not overdoing diuretics can be good, but also
Yeah.
some people do need diuretics, and some people don't need to be so modest with diuretics as well. So it's like
Yeah.
you're the kind of person, Ivan, you're gonna do what you need to do. You don't care about new school, old school, what theories people agree with. Like if you need a
Yeah.
fucking, if you need half a diazide, you're gonna get a half a diazide. If you
Mm.
need no diazide, you're gonna get none,
You
right?
know. You
yeah.
know. I
Like
was sold at one point.
Hmm.
I was sold with all that new school idea. I listened to these modern coaches, and it all sounded like it made a lot of sense. Like, yeah, why I was doing all these crazy stuff? I could just do these simple things. And I tried it with myself, with my clients as well.
Me
For
too.
some, and it just didn't work as well. Some people, yeah, it works, but very rarely, to be honest. I
I
think
just
it
went
just.
bald.
I think it's just marketing, to be honest. They're trying to sell you that you can do it, very safe, very modest way, very mild. And I know one guy, from over here. He worked with a coach, doesn't matter who the coach was, and for that one prep, as he says, they didn't do any trembolone, any. I don't think they did much diuretics. He was just on test and primo, and I don't think they did any orals, to be honest. And he looked phenomenal. and I was so surprised. He was probably his best ever. But then the last prep he did was with I don't know if I should say this. Whatever, he was working. He said this on the podcast, on Serbian podcast. So who people from Balkans know about this. So basically, he was coached by Callum as well,
Okay.
and when they started working, he was on my podcast. He was talking about it. He was so happy with how things were clicking, and everything was set up for him, for his physique. And he says that he thinks at one point someone else was coaching him. It wasn't Callum anymore. And for example, this guy has crazy shoulders, super massive shoulders, and eventually the coach gave him 2 shoulder days in a week, which made zero sense. For example, there were other things as well. So he quit. He actually went to Chris Tuttle after that and did a pretty good job. I think Chris Tuttle is a phenomenal coach. I gotta give it
Yes.
to him. But yeah, in this situation, just didn't make any sense. But that's not the point, really. The whole point is you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, And the, the
100%.
the the best coaches, they don't even talk about what they're doing. They just bring the guys at their best, and
Yeah.
you gotta figure out how to do that. Whatever works for you, whatever works, it works. You don't have to try and change everything and find this new school of way. If the old school way works, it works.
So Justin Compton is the coach that I've worked with the longest, right? My program was completely different from Joe's program. We're two different people, and it should be, right? Joe doesn't need fucking diuretics. Joe never takes diuretics. Okay, that's Joe.
Mhm.
Good for him. I fucking need
Mhm.
diuretics. He gave me diuretics
Yeah.
because my skin. I don't care how hard we push. I don't care if I don't drink water. If I'm doing 3 hours of cardio, my skin will not look dry without diuretics.
I
My
can see that.
no
Yeah.
matter yeah, if I don't eat carb, it doesn't matter. My skin texture is gonna look thick. It's gonna look
Mm.
watery if I don't have. So he always gave me diuretics. He never really carved me up because honestly, I just I just look watery. So it's like it is what it is. So everybody's different. There's no two ways. There's no same way to do it, and it's not a flex. Like it's not a flex to say, listen, I'm doing well and I don't do trend. Well, if you can
Mm.
do even better, it's like Samson is one of the best bodybuilders in the world, right? He doesn't like diuretics. He doesn't like trend. Well, he's great that he can look like that, but it's like you don't get extra points. So
Yeah,
you're gonna have to
you
do.
better make him start liking diuretics so he wins the Olympia again.
I bet you Hadi. I bet you Hadi doesn't mind some trend. I bet you that. So it's
Yeah.
like you got to do what you got to do, and it's like, listen, it's not. We know this is not necessarily like the safest thing to do, but bro, if you manage your blood pressure, you get your cardio CT scan, calcium score, uh, I mean, pretty basic stuff. You should be pretty healthy. Okay,
But what's the thing with the diuretics? I understand Samson not being willing to do trembolone. Okay, I get that. It can make you feel horrible. It can definitely be, a negative to your health over long term. You take it at least for 6 weeks. But diuretic, half a thiazide, quarter before the show, one day, it's not gonna hurt your health.
well,
Dude,
the
it's
rumor,
because people don't know. And they
well,
hear crazy things about people taking Lasix and shit for weeks and then not drinking for 3 days and then
That's
they die.
different.
Or they overdo potassium while taking a potassium sparing diuretic. And it's just because they have no clue and
but they're
they
doing
hear,
it,
oh, it's going to kill you. It's the worst. It's the most dangerous. Yeah, it's the most dangerous if you're stupid. And
bro,
it's like
Like
it's like
insulin, for
it's like
example.
oh, insulin's also going to kill you if you don't
Yeah.
eat carbs. You
Yeah.
know,
bro.
Yeah.
Doctors prescribe people Lasix daily for the rest of their lives. Fucking,
Mm.
I heard, what's his name, Phil Klahar. I heard his doctor has him on Lasix every fucking day. So
Yeah.
he doesn't take that right before his show because he's already on them. But it's like
Yeah.
it's not the diuretics. It's not the diuretics that's gonna hurt you. It's what you do around it. It's
Mm.
people like not drinking water for days, potassium loading, removing sodium. It's a bunch of shit that you. And first of all, you're 4% body fat. That's a lot different. So it's what you're doing around it that fucks you up. And I've heard some stupid fucking shit. Diuretics in itself, I've never had any. I'm not mild with diuretics at all. I've never had any issues with myself or clients. Where the only time I had a client cramp was a client who didn't take diuretics, and he cramped on stage. So, but the rumor I heard is Samson had a bad experience with it a long time ago,
Oh,
and it's kind of like this is a rumor. I don't know Samson personally, but I I could see how that seems like it would make sense if you're that against something. But I'm
I
There's
sure,
there's
hmm?
also people that are stupid and they leave Clennon, you know,
Like all the way to the show.
and
You
then they
mean?
yeah,
cramp,
yeah.
Yeah,
and then
I
they
wouldn't
go
I
do
to
got it
that.
direct
out for the
and
last two
cramp.
days.
And it's like, yeah, sure, but
Uh,
you managed them wrong and you kept taking the Clen,
I
you
wouldn't
know.
do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do
I
that.
stopped it 2 days out, just like the T3 as well.
But
But
I don't even use Clint half the time for people that have
some of my guys and myself, I think I had cramps at some points when I dehydrated too severely. But if you're
Yeah.
keeping your water in a reasonably high and you keep the sodium in, you're gonna have a lot of the cramps. And even if you do, you're gonna die from it. Like I did a half a diazide for photo shoots and so on. It dries you out a lot, man. If you're lean. I don't think
Yeah.
you need to do any more than half a diazide. 35 milligrams, anything above that, it probably doesn't do anything, to be honest. Like I saw a
if
difference
you
between a quarter and a half. Beyond that, it's pretty much the same thing. So
and I
mm.
mean if you start feeling any because you should be having your clients at that point posing pretty much after every meal. If you feel any signs of crapping, add sodium, and you're right. Add sodium. You could increase the water if you have to, but usually when you add some sodium, it's gone. You don't wait for
Yeah,
the cramp to to seize your whole body. Like you start feeling any spasms in your foot, freezes. That's this would be the time to maybe start, add some
Yeah,
sodium,
also usually most people they don't
carbon
need
up.
much diuretics, as Ivan said, and
Mhm.
then you can take the diuretic and keep the food and everything pretty much the same because the diuretic is spilling out the water, so you don't have to decrease anything else. Like you don't have to do the diuretic and not drink. You can do
you need to drink
Exactly.
actually.
yeah,
The Radic without water doesn't do anything. Not anything, but it doesn't
yeah,
work as well. You need some water with it.
yeah.
It only does if you if you have an athlete that holds a insane amount of water, they can somehow continue to rid water without drinking it.
Mm,
But
yeah.
that's not normal. Most people need to be drinking water. Some people
But you
I
could
don't.
technically also then double the diuretic and just keep the food the same instead of doing half the diuretic and not drink.
This is true. Yeah, there's so many ways to. So my
What's happening?
Hey,
Hey,
man.
man.
we're talking about diuretics for some reason. I don't know how we got there, but we're talking about we're talking about diuretics. But oh yeah, and if you had a bad experience with it, let's say if this rumor is true with Samson, maybe the person he was working with just didn't know what they was doing. I think it's
Yeah.
worth a try, bro. We're talking about $1 million and an Olympia title is in your grasp. I think it's worth a little bit of risk. Just a little bit. God,
Yeah,
might
I
be
heard
risk.
about all these crazy protocols in the 90s and like even before that with really hydrating hard and taking a lot of diuretics and yeah, I mean some guys even died from testing loading and so on. So who the hell knows what Samson did? But you don't have to do anything insane, risk your health or risk your life today. Like if you know what you're doing for the peak week, it's not gonna be any danger to it.
Bro, guys in the '90s were starting aldactone 10 to 14 days out. They'll start with like
People
a
still do it.
quarter,
Yeah.
a
And how
quarter to a
much?
half. They will usually start with like 25 for 2 days. Then they'll go up to 50 for 2 days, then like 100 for 2 days. Then at some
200,
point they
yeah.
would switch to diazide. They'll start with like a quarter to a half to a full.
Shit.
And then some people would top it off with Lasix at the end, right? A
That's
gr-
insane.
Yeah, I mean, talk about '90s dry, right? That makes sense. But
Mm.
they would also carb up pretty hard. So it's
What's the
like,
freaking idea behind this? Like switching from one to the other. It's like,
you know,
like,
you,
Doesn't
you
make any
know, I
sense
saw
to
John
me.
Jewett talk about this, and he was like, "What if instead of dehydrating your body to oblivion just to overcompensate, What about you don't dehydrate your body to oblivion and just carb up a little lighter? You ever thought about that? You know?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think sometimes adding a diuretic and carbon up slightly harder can be a better look than just no
Yeah.
diuretic and no carb up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we're talking about from a half a diazide to fucking six diazides. That's a bit extreme. And I've done
Yeah.
it because I worked with John Reagan, who's a very old school coach, very old school coach, and I've done it, and it's like I don't even know what's going on. I'm like it's like one moment I'm flat, one moment I'm full. I can't get the pump. There's too much factors going on. It's like what is even happening?
Yeah.
I'm like, and if you land it perfectly, you might get that 10 out of 10, but more times than not, you're gonna drop down from a 9 to like a 7. And that was me for like 5 years. Like what the fuck? I
Did you
look like,
drink? Did you drink distilled water as well, and no salt at all?
bro. We cut water Friday night at 8 or like 6 or 8, and that Friday. So we loaded water Monday through Wednesday, like 3 gallons of water Monday through Wednesday.
Did
The
you drink
third,
distilled water?
no, just
You didn't
regular
do that.
spring water. Yeah,
That's
spring
really
water.
old school. I
That is
tried it
really
recently,
stuff.
actually, with a natural client I had because I thought it might dry him out even more without the erratics. But I honestly didn't like it. It's kind of unpredictable. You need to carb load after, and I don't know. I didn't like it. I think
Yeah.
he looked better
Still
like
water
one day
shit.
out.
That's
Say
shit.
again?
Yeah.
You should look like you're ready to step on stage 2 weeks out.
You
Um,
should.
m-
Yeah.
maybe a film, the most a film award. That's it. So if that
Mm.
was the case, why the fuck would you need 10 days of Aldactone? You know. So
Yeah.
You should, but like Fua talked recently about like the pro level conditioning and amateur level conditioning, and there is a difference.
there
With,
is.
with amateurs, you don't see that crazy conditioning. So if you're not that conditioned, maybe a little bit more aggressive peak week can help.
I oftentimes push to the very last second, almost oftentimes, because I feel I'm very sure I'm not going to lose a muscle. And I'm like, if I'm a little more shredded, it doesn't hurt. So I'm like,
Mm.
most of the time, I'm like pushing till almost one day before. And I also have to make weight too. So it's like, let me get more shredded. Why not? It's not going to hurt. And I can still like carb load a bit or so if, so I'm like, let's go. But obviously, you don't want to look like total ass, weeks out or be like full of water. I think the most important thing is that you kind of have a stable protocol in terms of water retention. So if you're taking GHD at the amount you want to take through the show, I'm like always taking everything out, but that's also individual. But from an estrogenic standpoint, whatever can hold water that you have like at least 2 weeks where like this is like the state that's going to be at the show. So I'm like I know what's fat and what's water.
Mm.
Now, if you look exactly like, let's say you're 4 weeks out and you look like you can step on stage or like very close to it, man, I would leave everything in. If you one of those
Yeah, yeah,
people who
sure.
can
If,
get
if you're
get those
perfect,
look, yeah. But some of the best peaks I've seen were people like Sas who can eat a lot of food and get lean and also keep GH and test in. If you could be peeled with GH and test in, you're gonna look insane.
And you had some
Imagine that.
Anadrol.
Yeah, imagine the fullness from the test, anadrol, and GH, but you're peeled.
Mm. Yeah.
You, that's a win-win, brother. But
Yeah.
most people, let's be real, most people,
Mm.
I drop GH, I'm losing 8 pounds, so I can't keep that shit in. Yeah, that shit got to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
me neither. I can't do GH.
Do any of you leave it in? Leave GH or test in?
I had Eric take 10 IUs the morning of the show.
Well, the morning show is different. I can take it out and put it back in for some people, but he kept
No,
it in just the whole time.
yeah, the whole
Oh
time.
wow.
8 IUs and plus 10 IUs on the day of the show. Yeah.
Well,
I
lucky.
don't. Yeah, no, no, I
some
don't.
some people can take it out, drop the water, add it show day, like Anadrol, right? Like let's say you've been off of test, Anadrol, and GH, but show day you pop a couple Anadrols, you take the GH, and then you can just hold like so much minerals and just get super full
Yeah.
up to sodium, but you're not drinking a shit ton of water, so you shouldn't spill. But
Mm.
a lot of people have to take it out before they put it in, and that's the trick I've seen a lot of people do as far as carbon up. Some people even do it a couple days. I think that's a bit dangerous if you do that for like 3 days. Might be a bit much.
I would say it depends on the physique, it depends on the conditioning as well, and so on. Well, there's so many factors for sure. But if you're tracking the condition, if you're looking at it like every single day or multiple times a day, and you're already you created the situation by for example, water loading, sodium loading, keeping everything at a certain level, so you can, if you want, you can just do that without taking diuretics and make changes in your physique. You can know what you can expect. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
usually decide the day before the stage what we're gonna do. If we're gonna take, a diuretic or more carbs or insulin or even junk food sometimes. You know, I
yeah.
don't have anything pre-planned, but I look at a physique, I follow it, and also if I know somebody's body, I know what to expect. But even if I don't, it's kind of when you're doing the peak week this way, the way that I'm doing it, you can kind of change things daily, basically
On the fly. I've seen
But
honey.
I also
on the fly. Yeah.
usually let run people everything through. Usually depends on the case, but usually because if they look good and I know their estrogen and it's like let's say 15 or 18, I'm like the test can stay in usually.
I've seen honey programs. I had a good friend that used to send me everybody's programs, and it was nice to look at. But I've never tried it because it's like some of these things are like that's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna look like shit if I do that, right?
Yeah, he probably
So
takes
Mm,
a lot of Proviron and shit like old school now.
yes,
Yeah,
but I saw him keep the test in high all the way to the show, but also with high anti-estrogen, so letrozole, Novadex, right? I mean that should that should take care of the fucking. You'll feel like shit because when I've done letrozole, I felt like fucking shit,
yeah, same here.
yeah.
terrible.
I
But
don't give
yeah,
it to anybody.
I saw a high test and GH all the way to the show with high anti-estrogens and but diuretics, right?
I don't do
So
that.
it's like
I don't give a lot of anti-estrogens to my guys. Very low, as low as possible. Some aromacin or maybe Arimidex, but that's about it, and like not a lot. Maybe a half Arimidex every third day usually gets the job done.
I got
Sometimes Famozole, but maybe like a quarter every 3 or 4 days if
I
it's
gotta be
needed.
honest.
I think it works a bit faster if you need to drop your estrogen fast.
I
Hmm.
don't really use it at all, off season or prep.
Off season, no,
Really?
but in prep I do.
Yeah, for the off
Really?
season, the EQ usually just takes care of it. It keeps that down,
EQ, good. Yeah.
I just
and
look
it
by estrogen.
and then in prep, this is just something I've noticed. If there's gonna be a dose for people that they're gonna get the benefits from the test without the water retention or the estrogen or the high estrogen. For some people, it could be 750. For some people, it might be 300. But whatever that dose is, if I
Mm,
find it and I keep it there, and let's say I lower it, let's say they're on a gram a test, and then I know their sweet spot, and then 6 weeks out, I'll lower it to
mm,
300. I don't have to add an AI. I just lowered it to
mm,
300. Now they're
Mm.
dry, but they still have some fullness. That for me seems to work better. If I keep it high and I add anti-estrogen, they usually feel like shit and can't get a pump. From my experience. Now, well, it works for works for Hani's guys apparently, but I don't know if he did that for everybody. But from my experience, it didn't work. It just they would actually flatten out even with the test. So I'm like, what's the point of that? Just to take more drugs, just to look worse? That didn't work for me. So I'd rather keep that fullness from trend fullness,
yeah.
and then
Mm,
keep bring the test nice and low, and
I
just
just
stay away
try
from
to
the
have
anti-estrogen.
estrogen in prep
ex-
around
Huh?
25 to 18, and whatever the person needs, to achieve that level, the blood work's going to tell.
Oh
I
yeah,
keep it
like
higher. In the
yeah,
off season, I like to see it around 100. Actually, I think it's higher than what most people want to see. Personally, I'm between 80 and 120, maybe even up to 150 is fine for me in the off
it's
season. But when
not.
I'm prepping, more like 50 to
Well,
80.
well, that depends if you're gynoprone. Like
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I think the
Yeah.
estrogen can be as high as you want as long as you don't have hypertension or crazy
Yeah.
water retention through it. It can be through the roof. If you're estrogen prone like I am, I can be 40, 50 in the off season. That's it. But that's also where I want it because my lipids are way better if I'm between 40 and 50 than if I'm at 20. So like they are like significantly. They're not terrible when I'm low, but they get worse. And so
if
that's
I
where
have
I'm like around, but I agree. Like if you can run on higher estrogen and every other markers are good, then
Mhm.
use the estrogen. It's also anabolic. It's also going to help with IGF.
pumps, bro, pumps. Yeah, my issue is clients who are like gyno
Groins.
prone. I'll tell them please get surgery if you can because
That's what I
if
wanted
we
to say. Yeah. I
if we
insist on
have to battle
surgery.
that, you're gonna run flat, bro. You're gonna run
Oh,
flat a
yeah.
lot.
You're
Hey,
going to destroy your lipids as well. And then when you destroy, when you hurt them, you can go back sometimes.
I love estrogen. Estrogen makes me. Hey, I get pumps. I'm strong. I would take a estrogen pill if I could. Fuck.
You can.
Yeah. Your
I
libido is
know a
also high.
guy. I know a guy that has a very interesting approach.
I might know who you're talking about.
He says high SHBG is really good. He has a nandrolone base and an estrogen base he gives people. So around 40, whatever it is, 40 estrogen a week. He gives estrogen,
Really?
he gives them.
The guy
And
Oh
who's
my
older,
God.
is he older and kind of not
no,
in
he's
shape?
young. His name is
Oh,
Austin. Damn, what's his name? Austin.
I thought you were talking about the what's that guy's name? The older guy.
He's
He was popular for.
super smart guy.
He's giving guys estrogen, and he likes the HB to be higher.
Yeah, and he has crazy success with it.
Mm.
It's
That's
really
weird.
interesting.
First time I'm hearing it.
I
Yeah,
know
he's
somebody like that. They
you
were the
should
coach.
talk to him. He's knowledgeable. He like on all kinds of stuff. He's a total geek.
They were the
People
coach like
trying
that.
to reinvent the wheel, man.
I think that's too
Again.
far. They were the coach like that that got super popular, but he kind of died out. I can't remember his name. He kind of had like a Hispanic name, but he looked white. He was on Fuad's podcast before, and it was a disaster. It was terrible because
Uh,
Fuad wasn't
I can
backing down,
imagine.
and he
There's
was
one
saying some.
guy who's big on nandrolone. What's his
Who was
name?
that?
Um,
I can't remember his name. Boston Lloyd hated him because
Tatum.
I need to
What's his
check that
name?
out.
I'm trying to remember. I think he would give people estrogen. He had
Oh
this
my God.
compound in order to. Um, but he did say something that makes sense. He's like when you take D-ball, a lot of the gains you get from it are from estrogen. I actually do agree with that. I think a lot of that water retention and fullness you get is from estrogen. But
Tayan
like
Clark is one of the guys who's a nandrolone guy.
who that?
Got base. Tayan Clark.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I'm not familiar with him, but I don't I don't think it's that deep. I don't like nandrolone at all. I fucking
Dude,
hate it.
all
no.
steroids build muscle. It's obviously also going to work. If it's the holy grail, I don't think so.
If
Does
it
anybody
works for
here?
some people, that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem. Personally, I don't love them too much, but
Yeah.
for some people they work.
There's no nandrolone use in my household. I mean,
In my
there would
camp,
be
yeah,
no
me too,
household. I would not have a girl if I ran nandrolones. That
bro.
shit instantly. It's instant.
Bro,
Mm,
oh my god, that shit was the probably the most
same here.
traumatizing shit when I did that.
I
Cause
did nandrolone and primo and no test. Awesome. No
Really?
problem.
oh,
But I think with nandrolone, it's like as soon as you combine it with test, there the side effects come. For some. Some people are like totally fine with it. And for me, it's
Yeah.
just because of fertility now that I'm not doing any because it's the most suppressive. So even if I get my sperm count to the best level and keep running a low dose HCG to maintain it, I'm going to avoid nandrolone just because, I can't also grow in another way. So I'm, just avoiding it. And maybe there's some, cognitive side effects. Some people speculate, so if you don't have to do it,
Mm.
it's rather side effect prone compared to other compounds.
if I found a chemist who created Deca, he gonna have some problems. That shit castrated me, bro.
Yeah,
Castrated
Really?
me
for sure.
completely, bro. I couldn't even feel my dick. I didn't even know if it was there.
Oh my God.
That shit was, oh, and I was still trying to have sex, embarrassing myself.
Yeah,
Okay, this shit is that's the bro. That shit is terrible. But I didn't even feel like good results. First of all, I don't care if I did, but I didn't. I just got kind of watery, bro, and
Mhm.
my mind wasn't right. That could have been, linked to my dick not working. Probably, maybe I didn't feel too good about myself.
Mm.
But I'm not. I don't want to. Some people tell me, "Oh, but MPP, you won't feel it." I'm not gonna try it. Yeah, I won't feel it because I'm not gonna try that shit. I'm staying away. Keep it. If you have Deca in your pocket and you walk next to me, I'm gonna sense the shit and I'm gonna get angry. I don't want Deca in my household around me. If you my friend, don't bring it around me. If you taking Deca and you're around me, you can't be around me. Get away from
I'm gonna get a water
me.
pistol and put some Deca in it when I see it.
If you want to
It's like,
kill me,
oh,
If you want to kill me,
yeah.
get an insulin syringe. Wait till I'm sleeping. Put some deck in me. I'm dead. Over.
Yeah,
I'm not waking up. That shit is horrible. That shit is
it
horrible.
is. It
Guys, I'm
doesn't
gonna
make a
have to
difference
leave you.
either. It
Oh,
doesn't make a
you got
difference
a
either.
dip.
Deca,
I gotta go.
Deca,
Yeah.
Bye,
MPP,
Ivan.
it
Thanks for coming
makes
on.
no difference. See you, Ivan.
Bye,
Sorry,
brother.
Mike.
Good talking
Bye,
to
guys.
you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't want no parts in it. But it's like I said, if it was some crazy good gains made, well, I'm not gonna use it, but maybe I would recommend it for some clients. But I don't even see that. I don't see. I just haven't seen it, and I know a lot of pros that don't like Deca as well. But
I
yeah.
mean,
Can
tons
y'all
of
see?
people swear on Nandrolone. So I think it works pretty well, but like I said, like there's people you can make a bunch of gains and it's not something that you necessarily need. You know,
No,
most of the steroids, if you just tell me any steroid and be like, can I get away not using it? You probably can. There's nothing where you're like, oh, if you don't use this steroid,
I
like
agree. I
goodbye,
agree.
like stop bodybuilding. There's not
I,
one single steroid that's like a must, not even tests.
No. I mean,
yeah,
my off seasons have been the same compounds for the last 3 years. Very
there we go.
simple.
Test
Test
EQ.
EQGH.
Boom.
That's it.
That's the every single. If anybody asks me what's my cycle, don't ask me. It's test EQGH every single
Yep.
time.
Yep.
It's not going to change. It's never going to change. But even the dose don't change at this point. But what I was gonna say, yeah,
Is
I
that
was
is
ready
that the
to.
poor man's primo cycle, or do you just like it better than primo?
I I never got anything special out of Primo, man.
Okay.
Like definitely not for the price. And if it was slightly better, I wouldn't justify it. I wouldn't be able to justify it with the price.
I'm just always like, ah man, my hematocrit and then this kidney stuff that supposedly could happen. Like most of the people are have no problem, but I'm like, well, do I need it? Let me just do primo. Like
Well, my
maybe that's why I'm the smallest guy in here, you know?
so I'm not able to donate blood because it's usually too low. My hemoglobin hematocrit is usually too low. I think I'm anemic. I have to be anemic.
Oh
Compton
yeah,
said, "Bro, you're anemic. There's no way you're running
you
that."
need it actually.
Exactly. But he
Take
like, have you?
Panadol on top.
He said, "Did you check it before you started bodybuilding?" And I was like, "No," but my mom used to have me on Geridol, so it had iron in it. Usually, men's vitamins don't have iron, but it had iron in it. So I guess I didn't notice because my mom had me on iron supplements just because she didn't know that she didn't know any better, really. So. I don't have. I'm fine with EQ, and I don't donate blood. I can't. The one time I tried, they said no, you can't donate. I said, okay, I guess not.
But I
So
also I also didn't I never had a higher hematocrit than 51.
oh, there you go. There
But
you
I
go.
didn't I didn't use EQ, so I don't know how high it could go.
Mhm.
But naturally I was rather a lower hematocrit guy. But I'll stick to the longevity stuff. I'll be Masters Olympia with 40. You know.
What about Master on for y'all? Let's say Master on versus Winnie. Are y'all Master on guys? Do
I
y'all
think
get
my
big?
son does nothing, so I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I use both. I mean, the end of prep, both are going in. Um, Probably Mastron over Winnie if I had to pick. If I had to choose one.
I gotta be completely honest. When I add master on in, I don't really feel
You get flat.
I don't feel much difference. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
being completely honest. And I've done it off season and I didn't notice anything till I went up to a gram. And even then, well, I went bald first of all that year, which is not great.
Mhm.
And it wasn't as good as fucking 400 EQ to me in my at
Yeah.
least for off season. And this year, because of the whole Master on situation, I was ready to not use Master on at all. I said, I'm not just not going to use it. Why would I use it? And then, of course, one of my clients had a boatload of Master ons, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll throw it in there for good measure. Because we're bodybuilders, we can't. I'm like, but what if I look softer? What if I don't feel it? I just look softer. I don't want to risk it. Give me some master on, buddy. So I'm gonna use it, but maybe like 4 weeks out. I think shit, they're not gonna take 4 weeks to work. So I'm like, maybe I'll just put it at the end or some shit.
I think I haven't used I haven't used it since last year's prep. So for over a year. This prep, I didn't use Masteron.
What about
Just
off season for y'all? Master on off season?
maybe I'll just put it back in if I feel like I have to push more and the other compounds I'm like not comfortable with upping. So just as an add-on that doesn't
That's what I
change
did.
any parameters really, right?
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say I think I'm not 100% sure. I think it made me appear leaner while I was in off season. But I mean, is that is that progress? I don't know. But
Yeah.
at least in my head, I felt like I looked a little bit harder on it. That's about it. An expensive way to to look hard, I guess, in off season. But
Yeah.
You can
I'm
also get a good videographer. But
exactly, exactly.
it's so funny, man. I always see these guys and leading up to the show, and I'm like, ooh, they peeled as hell. And then, and I look like, oh man, I don't know if it looks like I'm not in shape. And I know, like, for some reason on videos, I'm like always not looking that in shape. And then, or maybe it's because I look at myself and I see my flaws better. I don't know. But then show day comes and the judge is always like, well, Leo, you were the most shredded. You just need more size. And I'm like, these other guys look like nuts on Instagram, and I'm always more shredded than them. And I always look like ass on Instagram.
I hear you. Like I go through the same problem. I every usually what I hear in person is Mike, you're so much bigger in person than you look online. I don't know if it's I don't know how to take good pictures or good videos or whatever it is,
That's what it
but
is.
I do not translate online to my in-person look.
When I saw your
I
stage
also get the
pictures,
bigger stuff. I also get that. Everyone's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were actually big." I'm
yeah,
like, I don't feel big at all, by the way, but they think I'm smaller than
Yeah.
when
for
I'm
sure.
standing in front of them.
You're also taller than you look. Like you're my height. We're the same height, right, Leo?
I'm 5'10".
Yeah. I mean, every time I see you, we look like the same height. And in pictures, you don't come across as tall and wide as you are. I got to be honest. But I think if you take a normal picture, you're going to look worse than you look in real life. So you have to take a picture that makes you look way better to look how you look in real life. That's the
Yeah,
secret.
kind
That's
of like,
that's that's the real secret.
yeah.
And same for Mike. Your stage pics, I was shocked. I was like, damn, it was really fucking good on stage. I just think y'all just take the picture. I don't think y'all think about with the
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I've learned my angles and lighting
Yeah.
throughout the years because all my friends are social media people, so I'm
I just
learning.
know I can't film from up top because then my legs are non-existent. That's
Yeah,
a
you got to be careful with that.
like lower
Like literally, I learned from my
and a
friends.
little featherweight.
Like let's say we go to the same gym. I go to the posing room, and I'm like, kind of like shit here. So I go to their page. I was like, where did he pose? And he posed in like the the fucking sauna room right under this. I'm like, that's where we got to pose, I guess. Fuck the posing room, and then I'll go find it this week. Oh shit, this is. It's not the place you think. You have to find that place where the influencers stand, and you're like, ah.
Mm.
So I'm learning. I'm like, hey, what do you do to the exposure? No, look, before you take the video, do this, lower the exposure. I'm like, oh shit, because if you try to lower it after, it's not the
I
same.
forgot doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah, right. They always, yeah, it was sometime like a year ago or so, someone showed me. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. So even when I'm filming stage, people on stage, when I do that, granted, they actually look that good in real life. But if you take the plain video, they're gonna look like they're not in shape.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then I go
that's
like this.
because it's so bright. And when you start focusing on them, it gets too bright. And then you have to, I did
Exactly.
that at the New York Pro too. And when I went down, oh my God, I got really good pictures and videos of Chris man. Like looking like
A
my
hundred
snap
percent.
cow.
Mhm.
100%. That's what Milos knows that trick because I see Milos' stage pictures look phenomenal. I'm like, oh yeah, he knows the exposure trick. But yeah, you,
Yeah,
you have to you have to make yourself look better to look as good, and that goes for I've noticed that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you got Joe, Joe in person, man, it's a different ball game. Like you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? So I've definitely know that. Same with Jordan. Jordan sometimes in pictures looks
Yep.
a little tall, maybe lankier than he does. That man is not lanky. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. That man is dense. Like, he's insane. So that goes for a lot of people.
I still got the like. Sometimes I'll try post a progress pic, and the pages will be like, "Oh yeah, that's a crazy
Oh
picture,"
yeah, that's I like that. I like that.
and the pages
know
will
how
still be
far
like,
away I
"Hey,
sat.
you doing classic?" And I'll be like, "Brother, this update picture, I am 5'9" and I am 288. What are you
Yeah,
talking about? Like
like what are you
this?
talking about? Yeah. That happens. Yeah, if you got to start getting some goon lighting, bro. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
or just shock them on stage.
The
yeah,
funniest thing is when someone comes to me in person and asks me if I do open bodybuilding. Then I'm like,
Yeah,
yes.
you
But
won.
I'm
You
like,
won.
you have no idea what you're talking about, bro. But yes.
see, okay. What I will say is that when people say, "Oh, you should do classic," technically they're trying to compliment you
for sure.
because what they're really trying to say is that you have good shape. And a lot of times when you have good shape, you don't look like as big as the guy who doesn't have good shape, right? Because when your waist is 40 inches, you actually look bigger because you take more space, even though it's your waist, right? So it's like when you look at some of these guys, like if imagine if Samson Dowda had a big waist, he would look actually bigger, right? But because like Brandon Curry has nice shape, so you don't realize how fucking huge Brandon Curry is. Brandon Curry is insane. Like he's huge, round, bubbly. But sometimes when you have good shape, you appear so aesthetic that you don't look as big as you really are, if that makes sense. Sometimes, So when people say
Appreciate
that, I think they're trying to compliment your shape, but it comes off like, what do you mean? Like you don't think I'm big enough to do
it. Yeah,
open? No.
I think it
Yeah.
also I think it also depends like um who is saying that.
This is
Like
true.
some people don't even know that classic has a weight limit or what your weight limit would be, so they could just be saying, "Oh, you look classic." Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you like they would say, "Hey, Flex, you look classic," to Flex
yeah,
being like,
yeah.
I don't know, in 1999 when he was way too heavy for classic. So,
I get that often from like guys under like 23 because for first of all they love classic, and then if they see somebody who's big and they feel like they have good shape, that's the first thing they're gonna say. Are you classic?
and
No,
also
but thank you.
maybe these kids, even they go to expos, they seen Chris Bumstead, how huge he is,
Yeah,
and they were like, you can do classic, with Chris
yeah,
Bumstead classic. Chris Bumstead
yeah,
off
yeah.
season, you were like,
Hey, I gotta be honest.
Wesley, dude, like how freak, like when he's a little full off season, he was here at New Tech Gym the other day with the battle for the Olympia.
Yeah,
Guy's huge, like 50, like 22-inch arms. Like,
you'll be shocked how big the top classic guys are. You will be
yeah,
shocked. They look like bodybuilders with good
oh
shape.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they look insane. I mean, same with like Sebum. I remember like watching videos. I'm like, he has a very unique physique and he deserves to win. Like he's really. I never saw him like this guy is like a big like so muscular.
Yeah.
And never become like his arms aren't that big. He doesn't have big traps. But then I saw him at goals, and I'm like, that guy looks like Bumstead, but I think this guy is an open bodybuilder. I'm like, he kind of resembles Bumstead, but nah, it's not Bumstead. Bumstead isn't that big. Like, come on, let's be real. And I was like, he's working out with David Late. I'm pretty sure that's Bumstead. And I actually I was like, I still wasn't sure. I'm like, because even his neck looked big. I'm like, I don't think he ain't got that. But I'm like, Chris? He's like, yep, what's up? I'm like, what the fuck? I was looking at you like that bodybuilder because his head was big, his neck was big. I'm like, I didn't realize he was a big person like that. I thought he was like, he looked like a, like an athletic guy or some shit. So I was actually shocked. And then I saw Urs there too, and I did obviously before open, and I'm like, he looks bigger than me. Like I know weight wise on the scale, no, but visually, I'm like, this guy looks bigger than me. What the fuck? Like, what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck is? What the? Because they're all like way bigger than they compete. Like they're like coming way fucking down. Same with Dino, bro. Dino is like a big, he's big, bro. He's round, So I think most people
He
don't
looks
realize.
shredded right now. He's
Yeah,
shredded.
yeah.
And the guy, dude, he has his calves look like his arms. Like he has veins on his calves, like it's as if it's forearms that have a pump.
I
It's
agree.
wild.
I
And his
think I think we
arms are
jumped the
huge.
I think we jumped the gun because like Nile is so impressive. I think a lot of us, including myself, I'm like, gosh, I think he could win this year.
I
But
cannot.
but when you're used to somebody, you forget how impressive they are. We're so used to Ramon. We're like, oh, that's just Ramon. This Nile guy, whoa, Nile is insane. He probably has one of the best physiques, if not the best physique there, as far as pure aesthetic, beautiful physique. But beating Ramon is not going to be easy, man.
For
And
sure.
no, I tell you why he won't beat Ramon.
Mm.
Because he doesn't have that density and that quality.
Not
You
that, not like Ramon.
look at the side chest from Niall and Ramon. That's lights out, Ramon.
Yeah.
Lights out. He has this crazy shape where it's like, whoa, oh my God, he's gonna win. But
Hmm.
when they next to each other, Ramon is gonna look like they run a filter over him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I felt that way with Chris and Ramon. I would look at them like leading into the show. I'd be like, if I was a judge, I think I would pick Ramon. Look at how bubbly he is, and then when he sat next to each other, the density, like you're like, it looks different. It's like it just looks different. And Nile doesn't have that grainy density, like not like Ramon has it. Now, if all things were even, if he looked like Ramon with his physique, then he would beat Ramon. But that's not how it works, right?
Yeah, he needs
So,
that density, that depth.
but
Yeah.
then how would you
Maybe he
build?
can get it. I don't know.
Do you think he needs to just more
Not
years of
this year.
training?
I
Not
think
this
it's
year.
just more years,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Because it happened to Ramon. I feel like Ramon. Look at the first time Ramon did the Olympia, he got fifth. You
Yeah.
see the same physique, but it looked like baby muscle. There wasn't really a lot of separation or detail there. It was really aesthetic and full and round. But now I think he has that. Same with Mike. Mike for a lot of years, it just didn't
Yeah.
have that graininess and density.
Mike
So
looks insane in person.
I think
Insane in
Mike is
person.
incredible. Did you have Mike winning or Ramon winning last year?
I think I had Mike winning by a little bit,
I think I
but
did too.
I had
it
Mike
gave
winning.
me some hope that Ramon won because Ramon has more my body type, my shape, my
I,
structure.
I like Ramon better. Like, if I'm being completely honest, no offense to Mike, I don't know Mike, but I just like Ramon. It's hard not to fucking like Ramon. Who doesn't like Ramon? But
Yeah.
if I'm being objective, I kind of had Mike. Beat
So
him.
I had Mike winning when it comes to kind of bodybuilding and the criteria I feel
Yeah,
that is needed
I know
or
what you mean.
wanted. If I would have to trade physiques, though, I would take Ramon's.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. I would agree. That sounds weird.
I like the arms. I like the density and the insertions.
The
Maybe I
roundness.
like it because that's rather my strength as well. Like the shoulder striations, the brachialis carved out. The valleys in the legs. I
I
don't
like
have
the
the
look.
size, but that's more what I have. Maybe that's why I favor him more. I don't know.
I like his physique. If I'm being completely honest, obviously the best Bumstead in 2020 or whatever that year was beats Mike all day. But that last year, the Bumstead's last year against Mike, when I'm watching, I was honestly thinking I have Mike beating him in most of these poses. I knew
Yeah,
Mike wasn't going to win, with all due respect. But as I'm watching, I'm like, at least if this was a bodybuilding show, Mike is winning this.
for
But
sure.
like you said, classic. There is at least from what we're seeing, there is a slight difference in judging a little bit. Even like you could say in New York, Nile versus the Brazilian bodybuilding
Illegal.
criteria.
There you go.
Yeah, bodybuilding
I think he's
criteria.
Colombian, isn't
Oh,
he?
okay, okay. Is he Colombian?
I think so.
Okay, I think he's Brazilian. But either way,
Maybe
either
he's
but either way, I honestly had him winning, but like you said, kind of bodybuilding criteria, I had him winning, judging like a bodybuilder, So I had Mike beating Bumstead that last year, if I'm being honest. But
I think in classic, I just disagree with the judging. I think arms should rather overpower legs. And I see all the time that the
the
legs
opposite,
overpower the arms on guys and they keep winning.
almost always.
Yeah,
Like if you
it's
if you
like a
look
leg show. You can have like if I had um just if I would switch my strength, like if I would have as good of an upper body
flip
as
the
I have
yeah,
right now as a lower body, and my
you would
lower body would be my upper body, I would probably place better.
yeah, I actually agree. I don't know why. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It looks good, but it doesn't really make sense why it would be that way. You would think in a classic physique, the arms like technically like Wesley, right? You would think that would be
Yeah.
more, but
Hmm.
it's not.
And Wesley doesn't have weak legs. I don't know, like what you're talking about. Like the guys, like from the back, yeah, the hamstrings could be definitely better, but from the front, his legs look really good. So it's not like they're weak. They're just not as crazy overpowering as the other guys. The other guys just have like way too big legs.
I think yeah, I think because his shoulders and arms are so big and he's
Yeah.
so tall. But you see those pictures when he has a t-shirt and he pulls his legs up and they look really big by themselves like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just his upper body frame is so wide.
Yeah.
But I don't think his legs are small. I just
Yeah.
I
think
wish I wish the IFBB would give a little more criteria to classic, like
Yeah.
some more separation of
more.
what the actual look is supposed to be versus, man, since classic's inception, we've had, well, this is what we want, but then this is what we're judging, and we're really judging it like small bodybuilding. Well, if you're judging it like small bodybuilding, then
George Peterson with that fucking one.
exactly, like that's what I'm saying. So why aren't there some criterias like, all right, we don't need the legs to be massively overpowering compared to men's open, and we like just give some criteria so that as fans, because I hate going in the comment sections and hearing so and so's not classic. Well, that depends on what
Yeah.
era we're talking about,
What does
right?
that mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
Define that. Yeah. Like they were saying that about Logan Franklin.
yeah,
They're like, well, he's more classic than Mike. I was like, well, explain.
yeah,
Well, he's just the way his physique flows. Well, I
Yeah.
would
It's like, yeah,
if we're talking about
I can't
balance.
hear that shit anymore.
If we're
People
talking about
just like
balance, Mike is more
I
balanced.
feel it's that way. So, and that's now
You can't
how
do
it
that.
objectively is because I feel so.
yeah,
You can't do that because if we're talking about balance, well, Mike is more balanced than Logan, right?
Yeah.
Upper to lower, like his body parts are more balanced. His X frame is way more pronounced. So wouldn't you argue that technically that would be more classic if we're talking about aesthetics and balance, right? So we're talking about something else. Are we gonna say because he's smaller and he poses better and have the bigger? I guess I would say his legs are bigger than his upper body actually for Logan, if anything,
Yeah.
So that is a little bit odd, if I'm being
I
honest.
mean,
So
if you can't argue with criteria, you have no arguments. So it's just feelings. So
exactly,
like feelings can't be a judge
yeah.
because like every judge might have other feelings. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, who of these guys are going to fall in love with that's going to win? Like what?
Exactly.
So that's bullshit. I was trying to find this post. I don't find it because the IFBB Elite, they
Mm.
had a really good post. I think it was the Norway Federation or so about classic and what should be classic. And I read through it and I'm like, that's weird. That's what I thought classic was, but you're not judging it like it. And then I'm like, oh, it was the Elite IFBB
Uh,
because they laid down really good criteria where that was actually what in the beginning everyone thought classic was. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of what they put out there, like the swipe post with like four swipes. And that was really good. And I'm like, oh man, the IFBB should do that. So we finally really know,
Mhm.
what you want.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Uh, Speaking of the IFBB, let's talk about IFBB's Mr. Olympia champion, Derek Derek Lunsford.
Yes.
Mhm.
A terrible segue, but I have to pull it out of my mouth. But but hey, everybody's liking Derek's. I don't even want to say like a different side of him because I actually feel like that is Derek. I actually feel like he tries not showing that side. If you guys remember when he first came on the scene, that's how he was talking. When he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
coming
The
out
press
flex,
conference, right?
yeah,
After
flex
the
and
fight.
Jose, he was getting at them, and I don't think people mind that. I think what because like people, yeah, Phil had haters and fans both, but people were never hard on Phil because of that competitive nature. I think we like to see that.
Mhm.
Nick at one point was kind of like that, right? We all loved it because it's like it's not they're not being an asshole. They're not being disrespectful. They're just letting you know, hey, I'm here to win. This is mine and all that stuff. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that
I
shit.
love it. This is the version of Derek that I've been waiting to see. And I think it just took a couple years of people disrespecting him. And
Mhm.
he's done. As he should be. Bro, he has arguably one of the best resumes in bodybuilding history. If we're talking show for show. Like two
Sure.
Olympias, an Arnold, a Pittsburgh, a 212 Olympia, and he's competed in what, like 7 or 8 pro shows altogether. So
Lost it, got it back.
Crazy, yeah.
He won Olympia without even doing an open pro show.
yeah,
you know, so yeah. Me personally, I'm here for it. I want to see more of it. I think people were mad that they felt like he was holding back. There was a
I
year at
think
the Olymp.
so. I think, sorry for interrupting. I think people just like authenticity and self-esteem.
Exactly.
And if but the self-esteem has to match the accomplishments.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
so that's why
Can't be
people
wrong.
sometimes don't like me because they're like the guy. So I haven't been to the Olympia, for example. So
Mhm.
if I say I know something better, people don't like it. Even
Yeah,
though if it's true, people also don't they have a hard time just judging a statement.
mm,
They're judging who it comes from. But I always say if Hitler says 2 + 2 = 4, it's still correct.
this is true.
That doesn't make the statement incorrect just because Hitler said it.
True. This
So
is true.
so it doesn't matter. Like just can you please, if you like insult me or whatever, make an argument against my statement and not my personality. And if I'm being an asshole or so, then you can insult my personality afterwards. Okay. But just don't say, oh, you're a know-it-all or insult. And it's like, but you, or say, oh, who are you? And it's like, what did I say and how is it wrong? And if you have a good point and you're right, great. But I
Exactly.
just don't get that. That's an issue for me. But that's what people like, and that's why Derek can do that too, because he has the backing for the self-esteem, and then they feel it's authentic. If he did the same thing, but people would feel like this is not authentic, they would not like it. And
100%.
before I felt that people didn't find him authentic. They didn't bought what he said. And now they kind of do. And I talked to him for an hour, and he's such a good guy, and so you know in tune with himself now and with God and his family, and he got his get has his priorities straight, I feel, and he seems very reflective on life and what's important, and I really like him. And if you just poke someone all the time, I mean, the balloon's going to explode and it has to get the air out, so yeah.
The the vibe I got, the vibe I got was this is somebody who turned pro pretty young, got success pretty young, and you know he's in a position where he's a role model, right? And I feel like he's like, I want to be a good role model, right? So in order to be a good role model, I don't want to be an asshole. So I
Yeah,
think in his head, he felt like being that confident is kind of like being an asshole. So I felt like he purposely kind of didn't show that side because he wanted to be a better role model, which I understand that way of thinking. He's like, let me conduct myself in a way that I feel like would be the best role model. And to a lot of people, they took it as he's being fake.
Yeah.
I don't think that's being fake. I think that's just his idea of what a good man is supposed to look like, and he wanted to be a good man. The thing is that I think you still are a good man, and you can still be very confident and competitive. Being competitive doesn't make you a bad person. And
Yeah.
I think he's at a point in life where he's very confident that in himself and his personality and him knowing that he is a good person, he doesn't have to prove it by acting a certain way. I think that makes him more comfortable leaning into who he really is, which is a competitor. He was a wrestler, man. Like he's a
Yeah.
competitor, and that's okay. You can be religious, you can be a good person, you can be a father, you can be a husband, you can be a great person, and you can still be competitive and not take bullshit. Not taking bullshit doesn't make you a bad person. I
for
think
sure.
in order to be a good person, you have to be capable of that. How could you protect the people you love if you don't have any kind of edge? That wouldn't be a very good protector, and you can't be a lover if you can't be a protector. Anyway.
He's a much better man than me because if that was my resume, you couldn't tell me shit, bro. And I
Yeah.
swear, if somebody who had not won against me in 5 attempts tried to tell me to watch out, bro, you don't speak to me. Don't speak to me till you get close. Like I don't want to hear that. I truly don't.
Yeah.
This isn't a rivalry yet. We haven't gone back and forth. I've smacked you 5 times in a row. I
This
like
is true.
to me it's slightly disres and I get this is it's just bodybuilding at the end of the day. But this is two grown men who are very competitive. But it's not a rivalry till there's a rivalry, and in my mind, yet it's not a rivalry till Andrew pushes him.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
true. And then in two
But
of his,
also, like, sorry, but just I want to add something to it. It's also you have to, the story of the whole day.
Yeah,
Derek was there at noon, and I was there at noon too because I finished my training, and then we just hung out and stuff. And Andrew was also supposed to be there around that time. Andrew almost like they thought they just going to train without him. He came very last second, like 3:30 or something. They already had started the event and everything. They already started like doing interviews and all kinds of stuff. And then Andrew came in. And Derek also wanted to train legs all the time. And Andrew's like, no, no, we're not going to train legs.
I'm
And
Mr. Olympia. We train the legs. Yeah,
yeah,
like Mike said, I'd be like, hey, with all due respect, I've been here since 12. I'm Mr. Olympia. We gonna hit some legs today. Like what are we doing? You know,
yeah, I would probably
respectfully.
also be like, I don't care what you're going to do.
for
Like
sure.
then you film yourself and myself. We're not going to go against each other. I'm
I'm
training
doing
legs
legs.
now. You can
100%.
decide what you're going to do. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. I'm going to leg press now.
And listen, Derek's not wrong. I'm not gonna say Andrew can't win Miss Olympia, but in order to win Miss Olympia, you have to have the mindset. You think Derek would ever let anybody challenge him and be like, "We train legs"? He'd be like, "No, I'm not." He would be like, "I'm gonna bury you on legs." That's what he's gonna say. He's
Yeah.
not gonna let somebody press him and say, "Oh, you're scared." He said, "You're soft. You're soft." You think Derek's gonna let somebody call him soft and not do it? He would have been like, "We're gonna do legs right now. I'm gonna bury you right now. Let's see who's soft."
For sure.
Simple as that, right? So he's not wrong about the mindset. You know, regardless of how long the flight was or anything like that, if you're gonna have the mindset to win Miss Olympia, you have to be on that kind of time because we're talking about a position that everybody wants, that only one person can get it. You don't get there by accident. Nobody gets there by accident, you know? So when Derek won his first Miss Olympia, I remember people saying they don't think he has that grit to win more. They don't feel like he wants it bad enough. I was like, y'all crazy if y'all think anybody in this world can win the Mr. Olympia without that side of him. He's not showing you that side by choice. You think anybody can be the best in the fucking planet at something without the grit?
Yeah.
You crazy. I don't care how good your next stuff. You wouldn't even be in the conversation. You have to be crazy. You have to be out of your fucking mind for you to win the Mr. Olympia. So I knew he had that side. I mean, whether he showed it or not, right? He just didn't feel comfortable at the time. But of course he does. Believe you me, he's just as crazy. He's just as crazy as at the time people felt Hadi had that grit. Of course Hadi has it. But I'll tell you, they all at that level you have to have it. You don't get there by accident, you know. So I think that stands to that means something to have that, you know. And he didn't
Yeah,
back
I
down.
think he has a stronger will than Andrew. If I would have to bet
Uh,
on him, I would bet on him having a stronger will than Andrew. It might
mhm.
change, but just the fact that Andrew somehow needs a trainer to train hard enough,
Yeah,
needs someone to push him. And I mean, Derek trains with his with Matt Grego, I think regularly,
mhm,
but Derek could train with the wall, man. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I, I think he needs to start getting his respect. Listen, that's not even my favorite physique up there. Like
No.
most of us prefer Andrew and Sampson's physique, but there's no way you're gonna look at the two-time winner, bro. People weren't even talking about him being in the. It was they were talking about Samson and Andrew, the guy who got third and fourth, and this is the two-time Olympia. Before this Olympia battle thing, nobody was
Yeah.
even talking about the battle of Derek. Everybody was saying Samson versus Andrew. Imagine saying 3 and 4. One has one, one has none. One has never even beat Derek,
Yeah.
right? And then you're,
That's
you're saying they're going to be battling, and the one who won it twice, no, he's not even. How would he's not even in contention then? Like
yeah.
that's the
that's
power of social
disrespectful.
media hype.
That's disrespectful as hell.
It
That's
is.
disrespectful. Like Mike
It is.
said, I would have something to say about it. He's just been taking it on the chin. I couldn't stay quiet. I would be so disrespected. Like
Yeah, for sure. Like,
what? That's crazy. That's that's insane to me. So yeah. So
But
now,
it brings even more fire to Derek, so I love it. It's going to be really cool this year, especially when Derek wins. If
mhm.
Derek wins, I'm like when Derek wins.
I got to be
But
honest.
like, if he gets peeled, I think he's the most complete. So I think it's people say, oh, it's Samson's to lose. I think it's Derek's to lose because I think if Derek comes in peel like the Arnold one year, and he probably has even a little more muscle, uh, I don't see them beating him.
You can't say it's Samson's to lose because you're talking about like something that
No,
isn't
they say
happening.
that because they feel that Samson actually has the best physique.
Yes,
So if he would get in shape, no one could beat him. That's what the
E-
idea is. Why it
exactly,
would be Samson's to lose. But I disagree. I think
exactly.
if Derek comes in 100% shape, then no one can beat him.
Bro, you know who has better physique than all of them? Lionel Bayeki has a better physique than all of them.
yeah,
That doesn't
My
mean
God, this guy was so gifted. It's
yeah,
such a
that's what I'm
shame.
saying. So you can't just keep saying that like that's what's gonna decide it. Because if that was the case, he would be the two-time champ, but he's not. Right?
Yiki.
So it's like, yes, they have more potential than him, but potential doesn't mean anything. Who's actually getting it done? And he's younger than both of them. So at the end of the day, the one getting it done is the one that's gonna be the front runner. Can they win? Yes, Samson won before, and then everybody says, well, if he brings 2024, look, he would win. I don't believe so. That was
I don't.
2024. We're in 2026. I don't even believe 2024 beats Andrew, new Andrew.
No.
He's gonna have to be better. He doesn't just get to. be like, oh, the condition is pretty good. Like he's going to have to be good enough to beat them. He won't just get the nod because he has a really good physique. They have great physiques too. Look at Andrew's physique. Look at Martin's physique. They have great physiques too. You know, Derek in the poses, Derek's waist is small too. So it's like, and not for nothing. Standing there next to them, he didn't look small. I would argue he looked bigger, if I'm being completely honest.
I'm going to say he looked the most complete out of everybody up there.
Nobody wants to say that though because
I said it
we're,
too.
we're just not being biased. I prefer Andrew and Samson's physique,
Yep.
right? And I'm West African, but I'm not. I'm gonna lie because no, I'm being honest. He looked like the most complete, and he looked like he was the most muscular. Not like the biggest man, but the most complete. Everything was there. That's
Just
just being
super
honest.
exciting is what can Milos do with Hadi? That's for me so
I
exciting.
would love to. I would love to see that. I would love.
Because Milos, like, I always think back on how Milos brought back Hide. If what does it 7 years ago or something? Hide looked like trash,
Like
and
he was
then
melt. He
he
was like he was
trained
melting.
Milos,
Yeah,
and Milos like put him back on stage, and I was like, what the heck? He does look actually really good. I'm like, how can you make someone who looks like worn out? Because like people that are worn out, it's like usually
it's
like they're
hard.
not gonna come back. It's done, right?
It's
Like
hard.
who's
Yeah.
and he came back from a worn out look, and I'm like, dude. I mean, after that, he actually didn't when he won the Masters Olympia. He was too old. But
Yeah.
this one time, like, and when he did come back and like that. Wonder what he can do with Hadi because Hadi still feel way fresher. He's like 40, 41.
This is what Hadi needed at this point of his career because
Probably.
at
We'll
this
see
point of
that.
his
Yeah.
career, the same look because yeah, his legs don't sweep the way they used to, right? His waist doesn't come in the way he's used to. At this point of his career, just bringing like a good Hadi package isn't gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. Is not gonna be able to beat any of them, like any of the top four guys.
Maybe we're
If
going to see hyaluronic Hadi.
maybe. So it's gonna take somebody like Milos. You know how I always say,
Title of the
keep
podcast.
yeah. I always say just keep it 90%, don't go for broke. Heidi at the point of his career, he's
Yeah.
going to have to. If he wants to win, I'm not saying if he wants to be top five. If he wants to win, he's gonna have to go for broke. That's the only way. He's gonna have to be this new super round, full, muscular with his legs back to win. He
That's where
can't
you got
just be
Milos, man. The insulin load
exactly.
is going to be nuts.
Exactly. He
They're
can't
going
be
to be
caused.
like,
Hadi in 2020 could be conservative and come in
Yeah.
90% and he's good to go. Right now, the way the competition is and where he's at as far as his body and what's still there and not, that this is the only way. And it's the perfect time for Milos to step in. And I wouldn't be shocked if he can get his way back to top two. I wouldn't be shocked if I'm being
yeah,
honest. You
yeah.
know, winning
I
number one, I don't know, but top two, top three, I think Milos is the man for the job.
I just wonder how they communicate, like with ChatGPT translation or
For sure, ChatGPT to translation.
yes, that must be annoying, man.
Or
They
just
need like a new
programming.
software that's like instant translation or so. So, I mean, they
I
can't get on a call. How are they going to get on a
no,
call?
no. They
They're
got
going
to
to have
do. I think he does WhatsApp. I think you can translate from there. You got to just beat the program. Just send the check-ins program and translate it. That's the only way.
I had a
Man, that's
Spanish guy one
crazy.
time, and it was a pain in the ass. It was such a pain in the ass.
You had a what?
I had a Spanish guy one time that only spoke Spanish, and it was a pain, dude. It's not fun.
Yeah, yeah. The
Bro,
translation makes it harder.
I would low key be scared to try and connect with a client that spoke a different language. Like, what if the protocol like translation just isn't right?
It
Like,
happens. It happens. I'm sure it happens. Milos
yeah,
worked with Beirut. He worked with somebody, and he said there was a communication error. I want to say it was Horse MD, I believe. They were having a they were misunderstanding each other. that can happen easily if you don't speak
Yeah.
the same language. Just the smallest thing, but the small things can make a big difference.
So
When it
what
comes
you
to,
have to do as a coach is you have to have them respond in their language because
yes,
then it's mostly on you.
yeah, it's true. I would triple check. Show me, show me the
Yeah.
needle. Let me see.
Show me that insulin. Show me that insulin dose before we shoot that. Let me see
Because
that
if
insulin
they
dose.
send you the translated version, you have no idea. But if
Yeah,
you have to translate it, you can dig deep, you can make sure it's right. You don't know what they're using to translate, and you don't want to triple check that. So you rather do that part too. Yeah.
I remember
Imagine imagine
when
the
Heidi.
check-ins are just like the needles, like showing the needles and the dosage, and then that's the coach is just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
and
go.
that's how yes, no, no, no. Good.
You remember when Hadi and his manager separated, and his manager started talking shit about him, and
Yeah.
he put out the text messages when Hadi was telling him to stop pinning his side delts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, Hadi probably mistaken. Oh, you want me to pin my side delts? Because that shit did not get better, by the way. He did pin my side delts. Okay, it must have been a misunderstanding. Because for a couple of years there, Hadi, holy shit, he had horns for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like to Guru. Yeah, if you watch anime, to Guru.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Oh man, but yeah, that was bound to happen at some point. But last topic. Kamal did another podcast talking about the
I'll go piss for a second.
yeah, talking about the part two because part one wasn't in depth enough apparently, and he doubled down. Now he said he wouldn't take $1 million
Fucking liar.
to
Fucking
coach
liar.
him. I mean, Andrew wouldn't want him to train him for free at this point, you know.
Yeah.
So that bridge is burnt, and it didn't have to be. And even if you felt slighted, you could have chose to stop training him and be like, oh nah, 5,000, that's not enough. I don't think this is gonna. I'd rather not. And it could have just stayed amicable.
Yep.
But how upset he was is kind of like crazy to me that you said you didn't want anything, you get something anyways, and then you're so upset. It doesn't seem logical. It seems so over the top, honestly.
For sure.
It's just not a good look, honestly. It's just and everybody it looks like everybody agrees in the comments for the
I
most
think
part.
I think everybody's pretty much stands with Andrew on Andrew's side with this.
What was supposed to come out of it? Did he think like first of all, if people would have turned on Andrew, what would you get out of that? It's not
Yeah.
like you're gonna get 50K now. So
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of is like you want to slander his character, but why would you want to do that
I don't
over
know.
like such like this? It
He's
doesn't. That's part of why it's not a good look because that's the only thing this could have possibly accomplished. Nothing else could have been accomplished other than people to say, "Oh, I knew Andrew was a cheapskater." That's the only thing that could have come out of it. And why would you want that? Especially if you say you wish him the best.
it really doesn't make sense. But you can always tell when somebody does want to talk about a subject because in the original podcast, he said, I don't really want to go into, I don't really want to.
Then you go
But
the hour,
hold up, I do. Let's talk about it.
bro. You talk about it for an hour and then come back for another podcast, but you didn't want to talk about it,
Yeah,
bro. That's just that. I think that this was one of the most like embarrassing like stories somebody put out themselves. Like it didn't do what he thought it was gonna do, whatever he
yeah.
thought it was gonna do.
I got it at first
Mhm.
that he felt like disrespected by the $3,000
Mhm.
that I got that I understood.
Mhm.
But then as he kept going, it's like, well, dude, have some grace now.
Yeah.
Like now it's okay. Like, and I
But
thought we were friends. So
don't say you don't want anything. Is my whole point. I've helped people for free, and I've said I didn't want anything because I actually didn't want anything. But you You can't say you don't want anything and then you get something anyways and then you're upset. That
No, 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 you don't understand. No, it's if you don't want anything, that's cool from you. But then by him giving him $3,000, he's basically saying like he's giving him a value now. So and that value he gives him, it seems to him like, dude, so you thought what I did for you was worth $3,000?
no, no,
Sounds to them like
it's like respect. It's like you don't want payment, but the least I could do is give you something for some lunch or some dinner. Like he's not saying this is your value of coaching. He's saying this is just.
That's what you're doing indirectly, bro.
I
Then don't give
disagree.
him
I don't think
anything.
at all.
So if you give someone something because you want to like show him that you value their work and you give them just plain money, which is not like anything personal, it's not like a gesture, it's just amount of money. Then
Mhm.
you kind of saying that's what you were worth.
but it's a
Not,
Rolex
not at
too.
all.
But it's a Rolex too.
Oh, the Rolex came after.
Yeah, but
I
I think it was in the same gesture, the same breath.
I don't agree with that at all. Okay, Compton came out here. I was gonna pay for everything. He said, I got other clients in the show, I'll pay for my own ticket. You sure? Okay. So when he comes out here, I still try to give him something. It's not gonna be his value. I know that's not his value, but it's just that this is the least I can do for you doing on your own dime. It's not, oh, your value is
So did you just hand him
dinner.
$200 then?
No, no, no.
No,
I'm
you
not gonna say
invited him for
what
dinner or something.
I'm not gonna say what I gave him, but it's just it has nothing to do with your value. And he was like, "Oh, no, I don't need anything. I'm good. Take it anyway." Oh man, thank you. That's how you respond to somebody giving you something that you don't want. You can't be rude about even if you think, oh, that's what you can't be rude about getting something for free. Like that doesn't make sense. It's not your value. Like obviously he doesn't think your value is that. It's just addition to. It's like tip for somebody who didn't charge you. That to me makes perfect sense. I understand that 100%. Just take it anyway. I know you don't need it. I get it. Just take it anyway. It don't matter. You give it to your wife like you was gonna do whatever you want to do with it. It's just that
Okay, okay,
I
let's
just
just
do
be
it.
drastic for you to understand it.
Hmm.
So let's say you do work that's actually worth $50,000,
Okay.
right? And you do it for free for a friend. You
That's
know
already
the friend, you know the friend is rich as fuck. He just won $1 million.
that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what
No,
the
it's
friend
not
has.
irrelevant.
It
It
is
is not
irrelevant.
irrelevant
It's very
to how
irrelevant.
much you give is not irrelevant to how
It
much you
is.
have.
It is.
It is
It,
totally relevant.
if you're
If
gonna
you
do it
have
for
nothing, you
free,
can't give nothing. If you have a
no, no,
lot, you
no.
can give
You,
more.
you
If a
you don't get to you
billionaire,
don't get to count
no, bro,
pockets.
no. If a
You
billionaire
don't
gives
count my
you
pockets.
$1,000, it's way different than me giving you 500. I
It's free work. You don't. You know what free means? It means nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's $50.
okay, you
It's
didn't listen
free.
to me. You didn't listen to
I
me.
did. I did. You
No,
said it,
I said it matters how much you have for the amount you give. If
not
I
for
give
free work.
$500, no,
Not for free work.
I'm
It
not
it,
talking
it
about
doesn't
free
matter.
work. I'm not
Yes, we
talking
are.
about free
We're
work.
talking about that's the whole debate. He
No,
did it for free.
I'm talking about donation. A donation, a gift. I'm talking about a gift. If
That's
I
free
give
work. A
someone
donation is
something
free.
worth $500, it is different than a billionaire giving the guy $1,000.
It doesn't matter. You don't know. It doesn't matter
No,
how much money.
please just no.
Take take
Please just
take the
take that
payment
statement that I made and answer that statement. You're putting it into a context that I didn't make.
because it has nothing to do with the conversation. Then
Yeah.
if
It has.
if you're saying obviously, okay. Here's the problem. If I'm doing 50 grand amount of work, then I get paid up front. That's the whole point. If you don't get paid up front, you're saying I'm doing it for free. It doesn't matter if you're a trillionaire. Your money is not my money. I'm doing it for free. Don't do free work if you want money. This is not rocket science. Why the fuck would I say this guy's a billionaire? I'm gonna help him for free, but he has to give me more because he makes
No,
more.
it's about
Then don't work for
respect.
free.
It's not about the money. He
It is
wouldn't
about the
even
money.
care. He doesn't even care about the
Here we
$3.
go. If my boy
It's
is
about
a
respect.
millionaire, if my boy's a millionaire and I'm a contractor and he wants work done on his house, my profession is a contractor. So if
Simple.
I want money for it, I
You
say,
charge it.
yeah, bro, I'll help you. This is what I charge. This is what it will cost to build your house. If I choose to build his house for free and he
Then it's
gives
free.
me a Rolex and let's say $10,000, I chose to make my business decision a free business. And
Simple.
in whatever he gives me, I'm
Simple.
grateful for, but I did not ask for money. In my contract, I didn't say, this is going to cost you 100 grand. This is what I expect. I said, I expect nothing. That's what free is. I expect nothing.
There. Who the fuck are you to
No, I
count
don't
somebody
disagree
else's
with that.
pocket?
I don't disagree with that. Listen, I don't disagree with that. But if that billionaire that he built the house for, then let's say gives you $5
Okay.
for that work, kind of like
It's not for the work. The work is
no,
free, Leo.
it's for the work.
It's
It's a
not
free
for the
tip.
work.
It's not.
No,
My
So
$100 grand
what is it
there's no
for?
free work. There's no
What
amount
is
on
it
free
for?
work
What is it for? It's not for the work. Why did you give him $3,000?
because
I
he wants to.
yes, because
It's a choice.
I'm his
Free
friend.
work doesn't have a cost, Leo. That's not called free. It's not how free works.
Yeah.
You can't work. I know Leo's a millionaire. Leo, I'm gonna go mow your grass for free, for free, for free.
Of
Oh,
course, Andrew gave him $3,000 because of what he did for him. Of course, that's the reason.
no.
Yes, but it wasn't
What he
payment.
did was free, so it's not payment.
No, yes, but it was because of the work that he gave him that money.
It's
Yes, he was
not payment for the
appreciative.
work.
He was
But
appreciative.
because of the work, he gave him that money. If there was no work, he wouldn't have given him money. He
That's
wouldn't
the
have
whole
just given
respect part.
three
That
thousand
that
bucks
is the
to
respect.
anyone else.
The respect is I'm gonna give it to you anyways. The work is free, Leo. Free doesn't have a payment. I don't care if you're a billionaire, how much you make. My million is not your million. You don't tell me give me your 50 grand because I did work for free. You can't charge for free work. You charge for the work. You want 50 grand, you charge 50 grand before the work. That's not how it works. That makes no sense. The amount of money you have is not your money. I can have as much money as I want. It's not for your access. This is for me and my family. You don't tell me what I do with my money. If you want to do work, you give me a price, I pay you. You don't get to count my pockets after the fact. That's not how business is done. It's either business or it's
I
not.
know that's not how business is done. It is a different uh like
It's not
level.
payment.
It's nothing to do with business. It's to do with relationship and valuing a person. And
Here's a question, Leo.
indirectly, that person, okay, I'm just going to tell you then how Kamal understood it. Kamal understood this as I got $3,000 because I value what you did for me. So I give you $3,000. And Kamal found that disrespectful because it seems like he's been paying him out of goodwill some amount for his work. And that amount was so low that Kamal felt disrespected because it made him feel like Andrew thinks, oh, it wasn't a big deal. You didn't even help me that much. That is how
Yes.
Kamal got it. And I can understand why people can get it. I don't agree with being with the whole thing in itself. And obviously, if you actually want money, you need to say that up front. I agree with all that, all the business aspect. You're totally right. I never said that. But there's a different level to it as in a relationship and valuing each other and how that can come across.
Yeah.
And I can understand that that came across to Kamal as disrespectful because it can come across to Kamal that Andrew feels Kamal didn't really do much to help him.
I understand what you're saying. Like, I get what you're saying, that he felt like his work was devalued. But let me just pose this question really quick. Let's say Andrew did pay 50 grand up front. Kamal did his work. He won what he won. And Andrew gave him $3,000 in a Rolex. Is that insulting?
No.
No, it's not. So
Exactly.
that's there in my mind. There's no difference there whether Andrew paid 50 grand because that was the contract that they had decided, or if the work was free. It's still $3,000 in a Rolex as a gesture. It's just one might have 50 grand with it because Kamal asked for 50 grand, but now that $3,000 in Rolex doesn't seem so insulting.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
So
but it's a totally different scenario
yeah,
because
yeah.
the work has been valued up front already, and it's a tip, and a tip on nothing is still something different.
So here the thing. Andrew never devalued Kamal's work. Kamal devalued his own work by doing that for free to begin with. So he disrespected himself.
That's also true for sure.
You
You can say
know.
that.
So,
That's true.
so it the only time you should do anything for free if that you truly, if there's no amount that would offend you. Justin, there's no amount I would have gave him that would have offended him. If I bought him a cheeseburger, he wouldn't be offended because he actually wanted to do it and he chose to do it for free. And by free, he meant free. And he was actually a friend of mine. So that's what real friendship should look like. It shouldn't be until, but okay, maybe if you're like, wow, that's weird, 3,000, okay, but we're talking about somebody blasting on Instagram. On top of that, that's insane to me. That's insane to me. So to avoid that, if that's how you feel, if you want to avoid that, if you know that would offend you, then never work for free.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's true. But what I could also would also say as advice for Andrew or anyone actually
Mhm.
that does that with someone, if you want to pay them back in some way or show them that they worth something to you, or you want to give them a tip or a gift, give them a personal gift that there's no number on it, because like a
that
gesture,
wouldn't work.
I would just, because it's just like a price tag, and it can come across bad. And that
I
doesn't
understand.
mean
I
that you're
understand what you're saying.
wrong,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
I
just
understand
can
that.
come across bad.
Yeah, but look what he said about the Rolex. He said I have a bunch of Rolexes, so he didn't care that, right? So if he didn't give him money, give him a Rolex. He said that I don't need a Rolex. I have a bunch of Rolexes, so he doesn't even value the gift. So I think the issue is that like he doesn't understand like a token
Yeah,
of
but the
friendship, whether
value,
it's
the
money,
Rolex also came later because
but
he already felt bad because he
mhm.
felt that he had given him too little, or he wanted to make up for it. I don't know if he
But
felt
if he
bad
if he,
about it.
if he had a bunch of Rolexes, he wouldn't have valued that neither. Is my point. The way
Yeah,
because if you did, you wouldn't have said that about the Rolex.
that might be true.
You
Yeah,
know,
no,
so
I think overall Kamal dug himself into a hole, and keeps digging. That's pretty bad.
yeah.
I just wanted to say that, like, initially, I see why he felt that way.
Mhm.
I don't know how I felt, how I would have felt. Um, Probably I wouldn't be that offended because it's not $50, it's still $3,000.
Yeah,
And also, like you said, like I choose to not charge you,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, yeah.
But then when it got deeper into it, I'm like, come on, dude, what the, like, just don't talk anymore.
I coach somebody for free, and I hope I remember all correctly. I'm pretty sure he paid for my food that day of the show, and then he bought me a pair of Jordans,
Hmm.
and I was very thankful for it, right? Because I'm like, oh, thank you. I have a bunch of Jordans. But that's not the point. The point is that he gave me like it's a token. Like to me, that's more of a sign of respect because I don't want anything. I chose to do this because I want to see you win. I actually want to see you win, right? If I just wanted a payment, I would have just took a payment. So I
What if
chose
the
not
guy
to.
had won $1 million and he gave you a pair of shoe Jordans, and
That's
it's
his
kind of it,
money.
it gets a little
No,
different. It
it's
feels
not different at
different. Come
all.
on, to me it does.
It
To me
doesn't
it
feel,
feels different.
bro. I'm not counting anybody. That's my whole thing. Whether he won a million, already has a million, or he's a billionaire, his money is his money. That has nothing to do with me. If I want his money for my services, I will charge him. I will say, he's a billionaire. I'm gonna charge him 50K for the prep. That's simple. but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do something for free. You get what I'm saying? The whole point is if he's a billionaire, then I wouldn't have done it for free, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't have,
That's true. That's true.
that's my whole thing. Andrew is already well off before he won this, and so is Kamal. So it's like money should have never ended the friendship. They're both well
Yeah.
off. So it's a weird thing. But
That's why also this money gift was stupid. That was not clever. But it was, I think it was really out of good intention, and they should have really talked about it. And
off
Kamal
air,
should have tell him, like, this is how I feel. I feel disrespected. Andrew would have been like, dude, that was not my intention at all. Like,
I
I
agree.
can give you even more.
I
I
agree.
didn't know. I thought money wasn't even that much to you. I just wanted to do just whatever. Just talk, people, man. It's like,
I agree.
are you
I agree.
children? Like, what is it? Yeah.
Like okay, like me and you right now, we just disagreed, but the way you explained it, I do get it. But then you
Yeah.
also get what I'm saying, right?
So
It's that simple.
I
So
never
so
disagreed with you. I never
yeah,
disagreed with you.
but
You just, yeah.
but what I'm saying is this conversation would have went somewhere that way. All he had to do was speak his perspective. Listen, all respectfully, I did it. I did it for free. I didn't need anything. But you giving me that amount, honestly, for me, rubbed me the wrong way. That's all I'm saying. And then Andrew would have been like, "Yo, respectfully, like the way I was looking at it, like this is a sign of respect. I wasn't looking at it like that. I was literally looking at it. I'm showing you respect by doing that. I'm gonna tell you what, my fault. I apologize. And then they would have made something right. I don't think he would have got 50 grand, but I'm positive they would have made some. They would have came to some kind of agreement that would
Maybe
have made
Andrew didn't
sense.
even think about it much. He was like having me some cash, at home or wherever.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, let me just give him a little gesture to Kamal and just pull some cash out, like whatever, puts it in that thing. And it's
That's what
like,
I'm thinking.
there you go. And Kamal is like interpreting, all kinds of stuff in it. And maybe it was just a quick, spontaneous action by Andrew. There wasn't even much thought about it. It was like, hey, I just want to give my buddy some money.
Exactly.
So if they
Yeah,
just talked about it, I bet Andrew didn't, philosophize about the amount for, I think it was a spontaneous, like, here you go, buddy. But
exactly.
when they never talk, then stuff, dude, that's the history of mankind.
That's it.
If people really talk about their feelings and they're open, like, and honest with themselves, 100%, like 99% of the time, they come to at least somewhat of an agreement because most of the times both parties want the same thing. They
100%.
just disagree
100%.
with the way. It's even in politics and everything. Everyone wants everyone to do well.
for
Yeah.
Just
sure.
one side thinks the other side is super stupid to do it that way, and the other side thinks, like, how can you be so stupid to do it that way? But actually, they have the same goal. They both want to go to Rome,
I mean,
but they
Bro,
just like
nations
killing each
solving
other on
world
the way.
politics, man. Like that's
you know how many times, never in my life have I got two grown men that disagree talk together and not, like you said, even if they end up not agreeing, they
Mhm.
come to some, they could leave on a handshake.
Oh, no,
It's,
no, no. If Milos debate someone on posing or so, forget it, brother. It's not gonna
bro,
happen.
this has happened to me so many times with mutual friends, with even myself. It's like you talk until you talk it out. I don't care if you yell at each other for 30 minutes. Eventually, you're going to stop yelling. You're going to be like, things are going to, once you cool down, things are going to start to make sense. And you're going to be like, okay, I don't agree, but I could see how you saw it that way. And then if you man enough, you could be like, okay, I could see that. You know what? I'm gonna apologize. I don't think I was wrong, but I'm gonna apologize too. It's usually not that deep, bro. The person that smack you with your daughter and punch your mom in the face, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You and Ivan talked it up on the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's it. What, like, it's not,
I could never talk it out with him before I was blocked.
yeah.
How can
but
I do it?
But you see what I mean, right? It's just you have to talk, and I think once you talk, I want to say behind your back, but like to a different group of people on a podcast for the public to see. Now it ruins it. Now there's just hard to come back from that because now it's so much in the air and it makes it
The
so. I mean,
conversation,
You
the
just you
conversation
just
one
don't
on one with
think.
people, it humanizes people, right? Like
yes,
we're always when you're doing this or you're just talking into the camera solo, it's easy to just be in your feels the whole time. But when
yeah,
you are looking and having a conversation with another human back and forth, it humanizes and we realize that like shit's really not that deep. Like we can
yeah,
come together on we don't have to see eye to eye on everything, but I can respect your opinion and you can respect my opinion and we can shake hands and we can go about our life. Like it doesn't have to be like this.
Yeah.
exactly.
There's a few exceptions. Sometimes some people are absolutely radical and absolute
Yeah,
in
for sure.
things. So those people that, and so then it at least needs one party that can just agree to disagree and move on. And you have to obviously be a little bit open-minded, and optimally, you're also forgiving. I'm like, I don't hold grudges against anyone. I don't think anyone. I can't even think of anyone in my mind. Like I'm right now. No, I can't think of one person because
Yeah,
they said basically that another person deserved to die. So that's kind of like I'm kind of not have a hard time getting over that. But
yeah,
I don't like I forgive everyone. Like that, you have to do something like that. Must be really like insane.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So all it takes is a simple conversation, and you'll be surprised what you can resolve, and that goes for pretty much anybody, anything. I'm not gonna argue with anybody on the phone, man. I'm gonna try to have the conversation in person if possible. If I some conversations you just shouldn't have, like if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't be arguing with your girl in text. I mean, at that
Ooh,
point,
yeah,
just wait,
boy.
wait till wait till
That's
you
not
get home.
going
Just
anywhere. I promise you, that's not going
but
anywhere.
yeah,
nobody's listening.
especially women interpret. I mean, men do that too, but all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. If you don't put an emoji behind it, oh my,
Yeah.
no emoji, like you like definitely doing something. Like you're
Yeah.
ill-willed.
If if I'm really, really upset, I'd rather say nothing
Yeah,
until like a few hours later or even the next day.
yeah,
Because
that's a good rule of thumb because you cool down, you can think about it. You know,
exactly.
see,
You
like
you you
how much
think
is how important is this issue really? Uh,
yes. Because I know in a moment I'm thinking somewhat right. I somewhat makes sense. I'm thinking somewhat logical. But then a day later, I'm like, what the fuck? What? It wasn't that serious. Why was I so upset? So,
yeah,
so I don't trust myself if I know I'm upset. So I rather just not, just leave it for a different time, and just that way, so you don't make it worse. At least,
you're wise. You're wise.
I learned the hard way, man. And in person, it would be my preferred method if
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
That way I could hide the body if it goes left. But but all right, y'all. Thanks for coming on, man. I
Hey,
appreciate
that
y'all.
was fun. I wonder what people are gonna say when we like screamed.
Yeah, that used to happen all the time with me and Ken for some reason. I don't know why. Me and Ken.
Big arms, baby, big arms. Do big arms matter?
You know what? I'm actually starting to agree with him and Joe, bro. Cause I don't train arms off season, and then I start in prep, and I'm posing. I'm like, cause I started training, and I'm like, you know what? The physique looks a lot better when you got bigger arms. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, your arms need to be just big enough. But I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes when it's a little bit too big, it kind of looks nice, right?
yeah.
It's nice, man. But
Arms can't ever be big enough, man.
I'm
That's
starting
only
to
one
agree.
body part.
I gotta
Yeah.
be okay because my thing is like, but what if your legs aren't as big? And you know what? I mean, I could say Kevin Lavaroni's legs toward the ending wasn't that big, but
Then
you
your
take
legs are
away those.
just as small. It's not your arms, and your legs are just as small.
Okay, take away his triceps. Did that make him look better? Like, no, that's not gonna look better. It's gonna look worse. So I'm like, might as well keep the big, So you can say Rolly. What if you made his arms match his legs? Fuck that. Fuck,
Ah.
keep the fucking arms, more arms, bro. So now I'm like, I think I get it. I think I might have to agree. So no more off season. I'm training arms now. Fuck it,
Yeah.
arms. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
All right.
guns.
Yes, sir. Big gun saved the day.
Second
What?
Amendment, bro.
All right, bro. You already know.